Welcome to Aaron Ask America. On today's episode, it is me and my friend Dave. We've been friends since like the sixth grade. I'm really excited, like I always am, to have people on. But Dave is one of like top 10 people that I always wanted on this once I had the idea, just because he knows all my deep, dark secrets. So Dave, welcome to the podcast.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming up here. I know it's definitely not everybody's used to doing podcasts and stuff like that. So anybody that I have on here to interview, it helps me. Like the main reason you use your sphere when you first getting together is it makes you better. Like if you look at my first episode, not with Christy, but the second episode, like super wonky, and now we're starting to get into the groove of Dexter with the Stream Deck and everything like that. Everything's starting to come together, kind of like my idea was.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question to everybody is this: who is your favorite superhero, and why is it Batman?
Yeah, well, you answered it for me, so yeah, it's Batman.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm not even playing to the house.
You're the first person to say that, because every time, because like the shtick is like I'll see, like last time it was a guy, he liked Captain America, and he was like, it's Captain America. I was like, oh, and just anyway. So why is Batman your favorite?
Probably just the same reasons for everyone else. It's a real dude. He doesn't have any special powers. High intellect. Good guy. A little bit of a dark side. So
that's turning his body into a weapon to fight demigods, basically, and being successful at it.
Yeah, Justice League. Is there anyone in the Justice League that has that is on the natch, as you will, with him?
I mean, technically, Superman. If Superman turned evil, it'd be really tough for Batman to take out. But in the latest iteration of,
but he's an alien. There's no one there besides Bruce that has no powers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, technically, Green Arrow. But, I mean, he's a billionaire philanthropist guy that shoots arrows. Like, does he really have a shot against Batman?
No.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't. But in the latest iteration, like, of Batman that's going on right now, there's a crossover going on between DC and Marvel. And in this iteration, Batman took down Wolverine, and he took down Deadpool. Not together, but like he took them down. So Marvel allowed Batman to take down Wolverine, and then also allowed him to take down Deadpool. Not kill him, but beat him in a fight, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's a lot of power to give Batman.
Yeah, I know. And and the conversation I'd tell you to, if you get bored and you want to read it, look it up or go buy it, and just a conversation between him and Deadpool. Like Deadpool, when he gets beat up, he's like, "Oh man, that was a really good fight. I really let you kick my butt." And Batman's like, "No, you didn't." And he like throughout the entire issue, it's like Deadpool saying stuff, and Batman's like, "No, I didn't. I didn't say that. We're not together." Blah blah blah. It's like a consistent like Deadpool being Deadpool and Batman being Batman. It's a pretty good issue. But
I'm down to read that.
So part of the main reason why I wanted you or asked you to come on here is we've known each other since like the sixth grade. So being a California transplant, I know that you got to go back at some point and live in California again. Mm-hmm. But like, what are the basic huge differences aside from the temperature, right, between the two states, as far as like, because y'all were next to the ocean, right?
We lived in Concord, which was about 30 minutes, 35-ish from San Francisco by the BART, so more inland. We were by something called Mount Diablo, and I think we only visited the ocean maybe twice the whole time we were there. Price, everyone will say price. That's one of the hardest things, is how expensive it is. That's about it. I was too young, even then, to really get into the like regulatory stuff that people might talk about with California, or even the homelessness problem. I think it was just getting started at the time. So you could still go. A lot of the shops it was pre-COVID, so a lot of the shops were still open. So it's very different even now than it was when we lived there.
Yeah, last September I got to go to Sacramento, like for 24 hours. I was there for 24 hours. It was definitely interesting whenever I was there, just because It was record temperature last September. Like I took the heat from Texas with me for basically like the weekend, even though I was only there for one day, and I got to enjoy some of the food, and got to see Sacramento, and it was. I mean, I thought the city for what it was great.
Yeah, I didn't like Sacramento, but I didn't see too much of it. Yeah, all I know is it's the capital. I visited once. My cousin came and visited us, and we went up there. So she knew some people. But yeah, there wasn't much going on in Sacramento. All I know is it's just the capital.
Yeah.
For me, it's the oceans. It's San Diego. It's the redwoods. You know, all the usual highlights.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I would like to do on this side of reality is go to the redwoods because you see them you see pictures, you see them in books. You also, I think they're featured in one of the Planet of the Apes movies where Caesar, I think he's swinging through the redwoods. I can't remember if those were the redwoods or not, but just
one of the newer ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was called Rise of the. I forget what it was. Whatever the first one was with James Franco. I want to say he took them to the redwoods, and just seeing them, how big they are. It's like I just don't know if pictures or movies do them justice until you see them with your own eyes.
Yeah, it's a shock. It's cool. I would recommend it. The way they are. So there's two different patches of redwoods in California. So there's the ones in the north that they hold all the records for height. And then there's one, I think it's like 2 or 3 hours east of LA, the sequoias. Might be closer. I could have that wrong completely. But they're still really tall, but they're thicker. So if you were looking to do a California trip, you could totally forego the northern ones, and kind of keep it all within the LA region. It's to still hit Disneyland and stuff. So that's an option, but it's just not really the same. The mountainous feel that you get, or I felt, in the taller redwoods, the coastal redwoods, it's hard to beat. Cabins, the forest growth underneath is kind of magical too, because there's not a lot of light that gets in there, so it's just a lot of like ferns and openness. It's very very much like a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the sequoias are like that.
And the sequoias are the ones in the north?
They're the ones in the south. Yeah.
Oh, in the south, okay.
Yeah. So you're looking at like northern California, southern Oregon. There's a city called Crescent City, which is kind of where you would be your base of operations.
Do you know how close that is to the city of Paso Robles, or no?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
Because there's a guy out there, there's a pastor friend of mine that if I do go to California, if Chrissy and I don't stop and say hi, he will hunt us down. So I think it's up in the northern half of California. I'd have to look at it. But yeah, if we did go there, we'd probably stop at his place, see him. He's got like 26 grandkids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's wild. He's got, I think, 3 kids, and out of those 3 kids, they spawned 20 plus grandkids. It's wild. The second time I met him, because the way I met him is he flew in and preached at the church I was going to at the time, and then came back and did a men's meeting. And I was just like, man, how do you remember all their names, right? Because, 3, 4, 5 kids, you get the flow of it, but like 20 plus?
Yeah.
Like, how do you even? But he does ever so often. He'll post a picture on Facebook of him and his wife, like in their living room, and just all the grandkids around him. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, you never invite them over for a barbecue, right? Because you wouldn't be able to afford to feed them all.
Right, yeah.
But
you get like 5 minutes with each kid.
Yeah.
Grandkid.
Yeah. Tyrone, how you doing? Theodore, come here.
How's school? All right, moving on.
Who's failing? Who's doing good? All right. The one that are failing, get to the back of the line. I only want to talk
There's
to the
a
ones.
number machine like in Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Oh, look at me. I'm next.
Yeah.
But you brought up L.A., and you and I have a little bit of a history of L.A. that comes up around, I think, is it March or April every year at the Oscars. We traveled to L.A. to go to a Lord of the Rings Return of the King Oscar party. And every time that those photos, because they're all, everything is uploaded to Facebook now, right? So every time that those photos pop up, it always brings in like massive amounts of memories and all the stupid stuff that we did. Well, I mean, not stupid stuff, fun stuff that we did because we were our age back then. But that is a core memory I have with you. I have a ton of them. That's why this podcast, when I have people on here, like I generally want to know how they grew up because like I want to see how different or how similar they were to my childhood. But you and I, I think we met the sixth grade, seventh
Yeah.
grade, yeah, from the seventh grade on. That's like basically all the formidable years, right? So I kind of know how you grew up to a degree, and then as adults, like
All the best hits.
yeah, but our trip to L.A. for the Lord of the Rings Oscar party, like there is this photo that we did that always makes me laugh, where we pretend to be homeless, like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
you're laying on the ground like huddled up.
Yeah. Well, that seemed to be a theme too, because I think we did similar pictures when we used to, spoilers, Dexter, skip school. Um,
It's funny that you asked that, or you said that, because he asked that last night. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
we were seniors. We had all our credits.
Yeah.
Just
Sure.
yeah, of course.
Sure we did.
Straight A's. But yeah, I think we found a bottle of wine and pretended to be homeless.
Yeah.
Then too.
I forgot about the bottle one. You're right. Yeah.
Remember the
Now
one
that-
with Will? He was like huddled up in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
I think he was sucking his thumb or something.
So the pictures that they saw last night were when we all went downtown Dallas with laser tag guns and did laser tag across downtown Dallas.
How many times we provoked the authorities to shoot
Yeah.
us?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, but so after watching those pictures or looking at those pictures, he was like, "So did y'all ever skip school?" And here's the thing that I've adopted, and you probably have too. It's like I'm not gonna lie to my kids, right? So I told him, I was like, "Yes, we skipped school."
Yeah.
He didn't ask how many times or for what reason, and he asked, "What did you ask?"
Said, did you guys sneak out?
Oh, that's what it was. Sneak out. That's what it was. He didn't say skip school. He said sneak out. That's what it was. And yes, we did.
Yeah. All the above.
Yes, all the above. But we didn't do anything bad. To
We
my
were
knowledge.
super nerdy about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to like I think it was the fountains in downtown Fort Worth was that same trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the laser tag thing, and it wasn't that often really. And again, it was mostly our senior year. I think most of us had either 1 or 2 out of 4 periods off.
Yeah.
So it was really just the dregs of high school and just working through that.
Well, that and if you like, we were smart about it. Like we planned it out at church, of course, right? Where like you and Will were in charge of getting like the drinks, and then Daniel and I were in charge of getting the food, because at the time, both parents generally were out of the house working at some place. So my parents were always gone, and we always skipped at my house. And we'd rent a bunch of movies and pizza and drinks, and we would sit there and
Until your
watch.
dad crashed the clubhouse.
Like twice, right? That happened twice. I don't care what these guys do, but you're going back to school.
Dude.
I remember going back to school, and it just so happened that I can't remember if y'all ever did or not, but I got to school, and it was right after lunch, and I sat down. I was in art class, and the teacher goes, "Aaron, were you here the first part of class?" Because my class was split in half. Half of it was before lunch, and the other half. Yeah. No. I marked you absent. I was like, "Oh, that's weird."
Try to keep up, teacher. Come on.
Yeah. Come on, teacher. I don't even remember her name. It was an art teacher, and I just remember her not remembering me there at all. But like, even though I generally know the answer, right? So, what was your favorite cartoon, like growing up? Like, can't miss cartoon. Like, if you missed it, you lost your mind, because we didn't have TiVo and I mean, we had reruns, but not the same. But like, what was it? What was your go-to cartoon?
I think Animaniacs was really big when it hit, and that was like the heyday of really good cartoons.
Yeah.
But I do remember before that, for some reason, whatever network was playing it would only play G.I. Joe at like 6:30 or 7 a.m. in the morning, and I
Before
remember
school?
on a Saturday.
Oh, on Saturday.
Yeah, so I would set an alarm like no normal human should on a Saturday morning, and we would watch G.I. Joe, and then probably have like a big G.I. Joe battle afterward. Yeah. So that's the only one I can remember really bending over backwards to make happen.
Setting an alarm, that's big.
Yeah. That was that time period was GI Joe in the mornings, alternating between playing GI Joes and Legos was essentially it, and listening to Kiss FM on the radio that my dad gave me to only listen to news. I sinned and I listened to Kiss FM.
So, who was your favorite character on G.I. Joe?
Well, it was Snake Eyes. Yeah. No surprise there.
I think he was everybody's.
Yeah.
I mean, they made a full movie about him. Did you watch the movie?
Yeah. I think I did.
Because I think it was like
I remember it not being horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but also wasn't the worst. It was like G.I. Joe Origin Snake Eyes. I think there's some weird name like that.
Yeah, and they got it. They're like, yeah, we have to do Snake Eyes. It's obligatory.
I mean, he's the most popular character. It's like, why not? That's why you give Wolverine an origin movie, because if you do a Cyclops origin movie, no one's going to go see that. You know, if you do like a Jean Grey, no one's going to go see that. You know, you take your most popular character and you try to monetize off of that. But what about G.I. Joe, like, grabbed you?
I don't know. I think maybe it was the toys. It's hard to say. The toys were really nice even back then. The way they articulated, they were pretty high quality. The rubber band would always break,
Yeah, the legs would fall off.
or their nuts. You know, like that little piece between the legs would always break first. So we had a lot of like emasculated GI Joes. I think it was just the toys, and I never got into He-Man. I always thought like that was never my scene. I was like,
This podcast is over.
What is that guy wearing? I don't care for him. Get out.
I was more of a She-Ra fan.
I don't know. That's a good question. I really don't know.
What about the Thundercats?
No, wasn't a Thundercats.
Same art style maybe threw you off. You didn't like it either because if I remember correctly, the art style of He-Man and Thundercats was pretty similar. It was a bunch of muscle-bound dudes and girls. You know, Skeletor and Mumra were similar in nature as far as their magic, and they had a group of people around them that they sent. You know, they had a group of toys that they could sell to send to go attack the good guys all the time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like G.I. Joe when they had everybody. Where are we going to fight Cobra Commander this time? Oh, we got these new jets that we're gonna fly.
Yeah.
On sale right now.
Yeah. The pilot abort system had to be checked out first because nobody died in the G.I. Joe cartoon.
Yeah.
I remember the hail of bullets would always like form an outline as they were running like around, and then the bats were just cannon fodder. You know, that's why they had the bats so they could actually show things dying.
Did you? Of course you saw it, but what was your take on the G.I. Joe movie?
That was meh. I didn't think it was that great, but I didn't have high hopes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that always when you bring up the G.I. Joe movie is the whole Duke situation where movie starts off basically Duke takes a snake to the heart, and then like the main character that the leader of the group is down for some reason doesn't die, of course. But you have this movie where you have Snake Eyes and all the rest of them, do this movie. It's like, why did they do that? Well, because they wanted to sell more and different toys.
Mm-hmm. Marketing opportunities.
Yeah. And that was the time that we found out that Cobra Commander was a snake underneath all the mask and everything like that. I remember it blowing my mind because I forget the guy. I think his name was Serpentor. I think the guy that took over leadership from Cobra Commander and did something where tied him up, but then it forced his body out, or it forced his snake body out of his regular body or something like that. It was something weird.
Yeah, I don't know if that's G.I. Joe canon. I don't know if there is such a thing as G.I. Joe canon outside of the placards that you would get on the back of the action figure boxes. Mm-hmm. Those were cool. A little bio that you would have I don't remember ever reading that he was anything other than human.
Oh, that was in the movie.
Right. It was weird, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know where they got that.
From the movie.
Checks out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because Transformers did it in their movie, and then G.I. Joe did it. You went from having these cartoons where they were shooting at each other, never missing, to now you have these movies where they're using the movie to take the cartoon to a different place so that way they could sell different toys. And both instances, they failed hard because, Transformers, Optimus Prime dies, Ironhide, I think Jax, just everybody. Everybody gets murked, especially at the beginning of the movie. All for what reason? Just so they could try to sell toys.
Yeah, the Lucas model.
Yeah. Well, did you think of? Did you like the Transformers? I guess were you a Transformers fan?
No, that was another one that I don't know why. I was raised on Warner Brothers and Bugs Bunny. That was like my OG. So like even before GI Joe, it was that.
Yeah, Looney Tunes and I guess it was Looney Tunes. Bugs Bunny was Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I just love going back to that even today. It's funny how mature it was. Like the older you get, the more you can see that it was kind of the mature humor of the time. It was like the South Park of that era.
When Elmer Fudd would shoot Daffy and his bill would spin around his head. And,
Yeah.
You are despicable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my favorite one was the Gremlin one. I don't know if you've ever seen that episode, but there's two that always stick out because we had Bugs Bunny wartime cartoons, and then we had like the greatest hits. And the wartime cartoons was really cool. It had the Gremlins where Bugs Bunny was just stuck on a plane with a gremlin, and like it was a bit like Roadrunner, where the Bugs Bunny became the butt of the joke, and all the bad stuff happened to him as a result of the gremlin.
Really?
Yeah, he would like close the door as he was trying to run out of the fuselage of the plane, and Bugs Bunny would run into it, and then he'd try again, keep hitting it harder, and then when he finally like got up enough momentum to finally think he could knock the door down and go after the gremlin just opened the door, so he ran out like 30 paces outside the airplane, did the whole like notices and goes back. Yeah.
Interesting. I've never seen one where Bugs was the butt of the joke rather than the antagonist,
the mastermind.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But that stuff was really good. The old school Bugs Bunny cartoon, it still is.
Yeah,
I recommend that one. And there's one where he gets picked up. It's just called Bugs because it's a play on mob movies. So there's one where he was like, take him for a ride. That happens. I forgot there's another one that was part of that classic Bugs Bunny cartoons. But
what are your thoughts on Tom and Jerry?
I watched it. Yeah, I remember watching it, but just not.
Not into it either.
Yeah, not really. Into
So
it.
what about Bugs and Animaniacs? Where is the thing that did you watch? What was the other one? There was one in between those. Was it called What was it called? It wasn't Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies was another cartoon series, but Tiny Toons. That's what it was.
Tiny Toons, yeah. Oh, and then we're forgetting. So we watched Rescue Rangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or was it Chip and Dale? Yeah, maybe Rescue Rangers was the movie.
Well, no, Rescue Rangers was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
That's right.
Yeah, that was just the full title.
When there's danger.
Yeah. What was that? There was.
And then there was
line of
DuckTales.
What was that called? There was like a section. Was it just called Disney Afternoons, where it was like DuckTales, Tailspin, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and then Darkwing Duck.
Yeah. Yeah, I
think
forgot
it was
that
called
segment.
Disney Afternoons.
That was a pretty solid segment. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe we forgot Darkwing Duck. I mean, that's part of your lore. That's
Only because of
Darkwing Day.
Google. My email address.
But it endures.
So Darkwing Dave without an E, right? Yes. For the 1,000th time.
Well, it's funny because since you made that your Google account, your Gmail, or whatever you want to call it, and I think we're gonna have to blot that out. But
I think it's inactive.
no, well, either way, we'll make sure to take that out just in case, because if all of a sudden your phone blows up and you're like, oh, somebody watched the episode and they're tricksters. But like, every time I see something Darkwing Duck, I always send it your way. I'm like, oh, this is because they're talking about redoing it and making it more like, I don't know, Batman-ish than Goofy, and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work, but I mean, we'll see. I'm down for it because I watched Darkwing Duck just because Darkwing Duck was basically like this goofy Batman character.
Yeah, yeah.
With what was the name of the villain that was basically him, but he wore a yellow suit?
Oh, I wouldn't.
Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to remember.
How
It's
dare
been
you.
So long. That's one of those shows where if I put it on right now, I'd be like, yeah, that's Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, it's not as good as I remember it. We were at the right age when it worked, and now it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Tiny Toons was amazing. Animaniacs, that one was just clever. You know, that was when we started to get more complex humor.
Yeah.
The song, the way they changed the rhyming at the beginning, it was always something different. You know, you'd wait for it.
Did you watch the new Animaniacs?
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, they relaunched it during, I think, Trump's second or first term, and they made it political, which I thought was weird. And we watched about 2 episodes and then turned it off. I think they came out with the second season. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, they redid the
No More Hello
the
Nurse.
opening credits that were basically the same except for in HD because it was brand new. They did I think the 2 or 3 episodes we watched. They changed the, Animani, totally insane, something like
Yeah,
that. They always
here's the
changed
show's name.
Yeah, yeah. They changed it each time that we watched it, but like it just wasn't the same. It was missing like, like Hello Nurse. Like they announced that was never going to be in the show.
Oh, I was just joking. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was not good because
His name was Negaduck.
Negaduck. Okay. Yeah. So he looked it up for us. Thanks, producer. I thought when he said, "Hey, Dad," because I've encouraged him, like if we're talking about stuff, to kind of interrupt us, but he
Jamie.
hasn't done it before. Yeah, just like Jamie, right? But when he said, "Hey, Dad," I was like, "What happened? Did something go wrong?" Because either way, but yes, Negaduck. Now,
Gotta be careful with that one.
Yeah, but yeah. Let's get off the. No, I'm just playing. But no, it just for me like they got rid of the Hello Nurse thing. They did like this song that was basically gun control song, and yeah, it was so bad. I'm not even kidding. And it was just we watched it. I was so excited to watch it, and we got because I think it's on Hulu. It probably still is on Hulu. We got Hulu. For whatever it was, we got it just to watch Animaniacs and watch the first 2 episodes, 3 episodes. Canceled it. So I think there's a second season, but I'm not sure. But definitely, they didn't get it.
That's a good litmus test.
Yeah, because but even watching our version of Animaniacs, they maybe not. I don't know. I know it's probably not Dexter's style of humor because I'm still trying to figure out his style of humor. I showed him.
Have you tried dark yet?
Huh?
Have you tried exceedingly dark?
Seeing dark humor?
Yeah.
Would you define Blazing Saddles as dark humor?
We went back and who did I watch that with recently? I think it was just the 3 of us, just Wes and I and Twee, and it didn't hit. But it was the beginning where it was just like really on the nose, like what they're trying to get away with.
Yeah.
With the racism.
Yeah.
And if you know Mel Brooks, you know he's not racist. So
Right.
Yeah. So I think it picks up its pace somewhere after where we're done.
Yeah. So for me, like, I wanted to see if any of the beginning portion of it he found humorous. He didn't, and I wanted him to get to the iconic scene,
Right, yeah.
where he's coming into.
Were you
the town.
surprised that it kind of took a while to get to like really funny?
I
was.
I remember the movie. Like, I really wanted him to get to the final moments where they're fighting across multiple movie sets, because I think his humor is more slapstick, and that's the entire ending of the movie. It's a huge. One of the biggest fights at the time of movie history, them fighting through multiple movie sets. Get them, girls! But I wanted to see.
Sounds like steam escaping.
But like I was wanting to see if any of it hit right to the point where, from the guys trying to get him to sing the songs, right, and then they end up singing Camptown Ladies, right, and then like the point where. He opens up the window and he's like, "Hey, I need you to hang somebody." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so busy." And there's like a noose around the horse and the rider. "I'll try to fit him in, sir." And then, up until the point of him coming to the town. Like, I knew that if he didn't if he didn't find any of that funny, that wasn't going to be it. So
Yeah.
I turned it off after that, just because he didn't laugh at anything. So I'm like, okay, so let's not go there. Trying to think, is there any other comedies that we watched? I was good.
The Adam Sandler movie that we watched, The Teacher.
Oh, Billy Madison?
Yeah, pretty sure you should.
Yeah, I don't remember if he laughed during that. I can't remember. I was thinking maybe Happy Gilmore, the first one, because him going around punching other golfers, and that might be funny, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
You've already showed me it.
He's already seen it.
Oh, he's already seen Happy Gilmore. I think he's seen a portion of it. I don't think he's seen the entire movie. But either way, that's a puzzle that I'm trying to put together myself. What kind of humor does Wesley have?
I don't know if I've ever really thought about what container to put it in. He's watched Community, if that helps, which I was proud of. I was like, yes. And his favorite scene was the when the dean comes around as the payday candy bar and does the payday rap.
I have not watched Community, so
You haven't watched
yeah.
it? Oh, okay. Yeah, dude, that's a great one. I recommend it. So,
Really?
Yeah.
I think
You liked Arrested Development, didn't you?
never watched it.
Wow.
Yeah, I never watched it. Not gonna lie, y'all. I think y'all watched it without me. Somehow I missed the Arrested Development movement within our friend group.
Yeah.
And then when it came back on Netflix, everybody was excited, but I never watched the original run of
amazing.
it. And but I like the whole. Like I watched The Office, right? And I watched Christy got me to watch Parks and Recs, and because I was really opposed to watching Parks and Recs after watching The Office, because The Office was so like top tier, and then Parks and Recs was like when somebody says, what is better, Parks and Recs or The Office? Or to me, there's it's not even a comparison. Like The Office is way funnier than Parks and Recs, because
Yeah.
for me, have you watched both of them?
Parts of both.
Okay.
More of The Office.
Okay, so for me, The Office is consistently funny every single episode, whereas Parks and Recs, like, I don't think Amy Poehler, I was going to say Schumer, two different people, but Amy Poehler is just not funny.
Maybe not that character.
But like,
Yeah.
so my
She's
favorite,
really good in UCB.
yeah, well, my favorite character was Ron Swanson. Like,
Yeah.
he was the best. And then there was Andy, Star-Lord, I forget, Chris, whatever his last name is now.
Fat Star-Lord.
Yeah, he was funny. There was other characters that were funny, but like for overall, it wasn't the same as The Office. So I just miss Community. That was just something that passed me by. I haven't watched it.
I'd recommend it.
I
Yeah,
think-
it's way up there. It's
Is
one
it?
of the best. Yeah.
I know that Will, way back in the day, showed me like the paintball episode, and that was pretty funny. And with,
You like
with
that?
me not knowing anything about the show, it still showed up as funny on the radar. It's one of those TV shows, because we live in an environment now that there's so much content. Like, you'll tell me to watch Community, I'm like, okay, I will. And then I'm like, okay, well, Christy and I are in the middle of watching Wednesday, right? Season 2.
Okay.
And then there's Only Murders in the Building, new season just came out. So like, as I'm compounding more and more stuff on there, like, where do I fit Community? And then when I get to the point where I can fit Community in, am I even going to remember it?
You're right. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because that's ultimately what it boils down to, is like, because now that school's in session, we have more time to watch TV, because Elise goes to bed at 8, he goes to bed at 9, so we have about an hour to watch something. And Community is a show that I'm sure but we would watch together.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you want to do like a trial run of either, with Arrested Development, you get the gist of the show in the first episode.
Yeah. I remember the premise of it, like a rich family loses all their money because the dad was Ponzi scheme or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. He was. I forgot what he was doing, but it was something illegal.
Yeah.
But I mean, humor-wise, you get what it's trying to do from the very beginning, and you kind of know what the rest of the show is going to be like from there. Community, I think maybe the first 2 episodes don't hit as hard as the rest of the show. It's really weird. Because I remember it came up on TV one time, and I just caught it in passing.
What about the Netflix version of it?
Of Community.
No, I'm sorry. I thought we were Arrested Development.
Like the latest episode or season rather.
Yeah.
It was good. It wasn't as good as the first three. So I would rate it like basically sequentially. But 1 and 2 are really close. 3 is good. It's almost as good as the first 2. And then I think I have the numbers right. And the fourth one was the newest one. And I've heard that it's out of sequence. So you can, I think it was Daniel that said this, you could like watch a version that puts it all in the right chronological order and
Interesting.
it hits a little harder. But yeah, that one wasn't as good for me, but it's still good. It's like, levels down from the peak for me.
Right.
Like Arrested Development and Community.
When you probably had the original writers, original directors, all the people that were originally writing for it.
Yeah.
Because what I remember about Arrested Development is it didn't have the ratings, but it had all of the clout. Like everybody loved the show, but it just
Yeah.
didn't have the ratings. So
It was like Firefly, I think.
Yeah.
Where they screwed up on the timing of when it was aired. I think
Yeah.
that was a big part of it. I think I've seen a rant where David Cross is just complaining about the production and when it was airing and stuff, and the surprising lack of success of it.
yeah, same thing with Firefly. But like if Firefly would have been successful, then would Nathan Fillion have become like this kind of icon that he's become? Because I think Firefly becoming a cult classic is what started Nathan Fillion being Nathan Fillion, who he is now.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen any of his other stuff, but I love Firefly. I love his work in that. It's so good. Like I still reference Mal when I have to suck it up and do something. There's that episode Out of Gas where he, I think he has morphine and he injects it directly into his own heart. I was like, yeah, suck it up, dude. Yeah.
My favorite episode of that series is the one where they go to the planet where Jane is like a god.
Jamestown, yeah.
Jamestown. Because he saved, I forget what he did. He did something, but it turns out he was there.
It was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident, yeah. But anytime I see, I go to a nerd convention, like there's one going on right now in Dallas Comic-Con, I'm sure there's probably 20 or more people there that are wearing a Jane hat, and when you see them, you're just like, yeah.
Oh, they're wearing the hat.
Even out here in the 100-degree weather or whatever it is, people would go to the nerd conventions wearing the Jane hat because it's iconic. And
That's great.
I want to say, were you there when I can't remember who was with me? It was so long ago. Were you there when we met Jane? I mean,
No.
his name is
Something Stephen Baldwin, I think.
I think it's Aaron Baldwin, if I remembered. He's a Baldwin brother,
But not the Baldwin brother.
yeah, it's not.
He's not in the family.
It's
but
not
he's-
Alec. It's not Stephen.
I don't even think he's related to
Oh,
them.
he's just name. It's just Baldwin.
Yeah.
Oh,
But he looks like he could be related to him too, which
Well,
makes,
yeah,
makes
'cause-
it more challenging.
yeah. Because I met him and got a picture with him. It's somewhere around here. That's my Dana Scully one. That'll never go down. My wife has to look at it as she works.
That's on your nightstand.
But no, I met him and we spoke because like for me, like whenever I meet somebody, it was back before I realized talking to the person is better than just grabbing a picture with them, and I got to speak with him very little because I was there for a picture, and like now whenever like I don't go for the pictures. Like if Dana Scully came back, then yes, I would get another picture with her. But like I go for conversation wise, and I got to spend a little bit
That's cool.
of time with him. And the thing is like I didn't even talk to him about Firefly because
Because he never gets that.
yeah. Well, no, I knew that he did, but like I wanted to talk to him about something different. And there's a movie he did. For whatever reason, God hated me. Every time I'd go to my grandma's house, for whatever reason, this movie, she was in Houston. Every time I'd go to her house, like about 6 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever you want to call it, the movie of the week would come on. And it was this movie called Colin and Tate. And he was co-star to this other guy who kidnapped a kid. And they're trying to get him from point A to point B. And the old guy, the old kidnapper guy, he's the nicer of the two. And Adam Baldwin is the mean. He keeps on being mean to the kid throughout the entire trip, right? And I was always afraid of him because the way the way that the relationship ended up breaking down at the very end. And then they end up, maybe they played it in Houston a lot because the movie ends in Houston. But like I remember just watching the movie, but also just being terrified of Adam Baldwin because, I was young, right? You see things that looks real, that kind of deal. And So when I met him, I was like, hey, I was like, I know a lot of people talk to you about Firefly. I said, but I was deathly afraid of you whenever I was a kid. He started laughing. He's like,
awesome.
why? And I was like, Colin and Tate, you were so mean to that kid. He's like, oh, I was mean to that kid. So yeah, that was my experience with him. But I really don't remember who I was with, because generally, like, back in that time, I thought we all went to those things together. I don't know.
How do you feel after making that shift away from pictures to conversations? You don't have physical evidence per se, but because a lot of people they're still doing that, you know.
Yeah.
Concerts and stuff, they're bringing up their phones, and I feel old. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, so the shift is like, so like that picture over there, I don't know if you can see it from the angle you're sitting at. That's like a professional picture with me and Gillian Anderson, right? You know, I was a huge X-Files fan, so meeting her was phenomenal for me. But like,
Probably more than David Duchovny too, right? Because you had kind of a thing for her.
I haven't, yeah, still do.
Yeah.
But like David Duchovny is the only one out of the main four that I haven't met. Like whenever I went to Dragon Con with Jeff, I met the cigarette smoking man, I met Skinner. So I've met 3 out of the 4. I just need David Duchovny will probably never do cons for us to get a picture with them. But the shift is like when you go to like that's a professional photo. Those things cost like, let's say $200, right? But when you go to the signature portion, you can still take a picture with them. It's just with your phone rather than getting something professionally done. But like, for example, like Wormtongue. Like Wormtongue was one of my favorite characters in Lord of the Rings. I met the actor that played him, and I
Brad Dourif.
always wanted to ask him, right? Like, why do you think Wormtongue cried when he looked at the armies when Saruman was like?
That's a good question.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, he answered it, and like that's why I like the conversational stuff, because I have this memory of various different actors that I've met, and I haven't been like, you know, when we met Darth Vader, David Prowse, I'm not going to ask him about being Darth Vader. I'm going to ask him about working with Stanley Kubrick, right? Because not a lot of actors can say that they work with Stanley Kubrick, right? So whenever I ask him about Stanley Kubrick, 20-minute conversation, and like all the people that were in line, like his handler is not going to interrupt him because that's David Prowse. I'm not going to interrupt him because that's David Prowse. And I ask a question. All the people
Only David
around,
Prowse interrupts
nobody's
David.
going to interrupt him while he's telling the story
Yeah.
about working with Stanley Kubrick. And he spoke to me
awesome.
and a buddy that I was with, named Sammy. Like, he talked to us for 20 minutes with a line out the door about Stanley Kubrick and working on A Clockwork Orange, because he was one of the main 3 in the movie. He was one of the guys in the group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and but back to Wormtongue, he said that when he looked at the army, like his thought at being the actor of Wormtongue, he said when Wormtongue looked and actually saw the army, it's like everything that he had ever worked for and loved was about to be destroyed. And like in his mind, he didn't know they were going to lose, but like all of that was like hitting him like all at once. And I
I
was
think it was
like,
all fun and games until
yeah, until he actually saw the army, because
I think that was most people's interpretation.
yeah, yeah, but to actually hear it from the actor himself, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And because he was at Texas Frightmare, I want to say like 7-8 years ago, and I literally went to Texas Frightmare to specifically meet Wormtongue. I was like, of course I'm going to meet him. He's my favorite character, just because
Is he?
Huh?
He's your favorite character? in
He's
the
my
movie?
favorite character in the movies, as far as like from the villainous standpoint, just
Okay.
because he never really lifted a sword. He used his tongue.
Yeah.
You know,
He's the anti-Gandalf.
yeah, he was. He really was. I mean, because my favorite character in the Lord of the Rings mythos is Theoden. So the fact that like I really enjoyed Wormtongue and I really like Theoden, it's like they're linked, right? So
So if you could do like a VR, escapism experience, you would do Rohan.
yeah, I love the horse people. Like
Yeah.
the fact that they showed up in the final battle. I know the battle didn't take the same in the books, but like in the battle in the movies, just the fact that they rode in for no other reason other than their allegiance to humanity. And then like when the elephant showed up, Theoden's like, all right, let's get it back together. They all form up, and then they charge at these big, huge, stinking elephants.
That they just probably, for most of them, now know exist.
Yeah.
For the first time in their life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like the theme, the theme that Howard Shore wrote for the Rohan, the really, really heavy violin portion, is I just love it. I
Yeah.
love everything from the theme to the way they were dressed to Theoden to Wormtongue, like that whole I don't know, you want to call it the civilization, not Gundor. What were they? Rohan. Duh, you just said that. Yeah,
That was a
just
Rohan.
Rohan in general is just I liked.
Yeah, I get that. That comes through in the book too. Like
Mm-hmm.
he does a good job of mixing in some Norse, but you never get the idea that they're Vikings, that they're plunderous or whatever. That they have high honor, but they're not as their bloodline isn't as long or as rich as Gondor's supposed to be. So they're kind of in this sweet spot, where if you can imagine yourself living there, there'd be a code of ethics and its own long history, longer than America's, so it would still be storied. But chill, like it's not stone everywhere. There's earth and horses and I don't know. It's a little grounded, a little more grounded.
Well, they're
I think.
able to be at peace because of what Gondor's doing. They're holding back the orcs while Rohan's like, "Thanks, buddy."
Yeah.
That's basically what was going on.
Where was Gondor?
I know. Worst character of all was, of course, Denethor. He was the worst.
Yeah, his was so, ramped up. I kind of wonder what it would be like. I can't wait for AI to reach the level where we can just ask it to do like a full feature-length movie as it reads it from the book. So, of course, like if it was Fellowship, it's going to be a lot of AI plants and trees. But that would be amazing because you could say, with the caveat, I'd like Dominique Monaghan or Elijah Wood, or you could put those faces on there, but the rest of it generate directly from the text.
You posed actually a pretty interesting question that we could attempt as soon as this podcast is over with. Do you mess with ChatGPT at all?
Where we read Lord of the Rings live.
No. The newest podcast I'm going to start. Christy's like, no, not another one. But no, like so are you familiar with ChatGPT at all? Have you messed with it?
Yeah, I
So
use it.
you can make it a master prompt, right? So you could go and maybe we will do it, but you can, in the prompt, you can tell it to be a master of something, right? So in the world of this, I have built this massive prompt that when we record an episode, whenever I upload it to YouTube, it will automatically take timestamp, give me the 5 best shorts that I can make out of it, all the SEO, all that kind of stuff. But when you tell it to be a master at something, it will do the research to become the master of it. So if we say, I need you to become Denethor. I don't even know if it could do this, right? I need you to become Denethor from the Lord of the Rings. Become the master knowing of Denethor so much that you're actually the character itself, that I can actually have a conversation with you. I wonder what it would do.
Yeah, it wouldn't be what you got from the movie. That was the condensed version.
Yeah.
We're trying to set up all these relationships where there's the preferred son and all that. They basically had to make a cartoon version of him. But
Yeah, I mean,
in essence, the book version was like all of the stewards were a break off in a lineage sense. They were a break off from the Lords of Gondor and the blood of Arathorn and his whole line. So Isildur. So like he still had that. So for him to be such a cartoon in the movie, I got it.
Yeah.
Like many of the other scenes where I was like, this is necessary. Best case kind of situation. But his betrayal or whatever, him being an antagonist was out of fear because he basically had a red line to Sauron.
Yeah.
So imagine having a fever dream constantly. Wow. And then you wake up from the fever dream when you look away from the Palantir and you look towards the east and you have the reality of it hitting you as well. So he was basically warped by something way stronger than him via direct communication.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the characters, right? Because you're taking something that's like this big and you're condensing it down to this big. You have to, I know you know this, but just saying it for anybody, but like you have to take characters that are super complex, like Tolkien wrote, and you have to dumb them down, right, to a specific thing to make it work as far as the story arc. The fact that Peter Jackson and Fran were able to take something this big and make it this big and keep it somewhat cohesive is amazing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the juggle sesh it's important, impressive what they did.
One of the things that I've always wondered, and I don't know why that they didn't happen, but like you take like what they're doing with Harry Potter, right? And they're taking and making like I think each book is going to be an entire season, but like do something like that at Lord of the Rings, not like the Rings of Power nonsense, but like, but actually like take like Fellowship of the Ring, and Fellowship of the Ring is a pretty thick book. Maybe you don't make a season out of it. Maybe you make two seasons out of it. Like you have, and you make it a little bit more book accurate. So like maybe season one ends with just like the DVD of the extended version, like it ends with them leaving Rivendell, and then season two picks up when, or maybe something
Yeah.
like something to that effect. And season one or season two ends with the splitting up of the Fellowship and into the Two Towers.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that they could do to like tell not so much a better story, because I think Peter and everybody did such a great job, but like tell a more detailed story. Because for example, like the thing that blew my mind the most whenever I was going through it was the orcs that were destroyed by the Rohan. Like in the book, it's like a flashback. I'm sorry, not in the book. The movie, it's like a flashback of like of them. Where in the book, it's like a 2 or 3 day ordeal of consistent battles, right?
Oh, when Merry and Pippin were
Yeah,
captured.
yeah. So like in the in the movie, it's like 30 seconds, because
Yeah.
it's just, like the whole point of the battle wasn't to destroy the orcs; it was to show Merry and Pippin getting into the forest, right? So that was its sole purpose, rather than in the book where it's showing the strategic battles that went on. I was like, that is wild to me.
Yeah.
But I get it. You can't waste 30 minutes of film on a battle that doesn't mean anything to the ring getting thrown into Mount Doom, right?
You got so many objectives too when you're trying to make a movie like that. You've got your
Yeah.
budget. You're trying to get the maximum audience. So there's certain things you can't do. And that's kind of why the AI question makes it interesting. Is
Yeah.
you can have custom stuff now where the production cost of it is way down. So you can be like, I want my tailor-made Lord of the Rings, and Aaron's might be different.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
more Brad Dourif.
have you seen the stuff that's come out in the past couple of days for Sora 2?
Sore.
So there's ChatGPT, right?
Oh, okay.
That's open source or open AI, and then they have something else, and they have this thing called Sora. Well, they just updated to Sora 2, and it's invite only right now. Like, I don't know how I haven't gotten an invite yet, because I pay for ChatGPT, right? So people are online right now begging for invites, but so was I. Shut up. But like no, like if you look it up, like people are going nuts with this. Like Open AI basically put out a message that says, "Hey, if you have a problem with us or with somebody using Pikachu, then send us a letter and we'll take Pikachu out of everything." So like right now, Pikachu's in D-Day, Pikachu's in all these different things. Now Michael Jackson is like being put in everything. Like I saw a video earlier of him running into like a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it looks exactly like Michael Jackson. He takes a dude's chicken, and then he starts dancing and singing a song, and then he like runs out of the restaurant like Mario, like literally the Mario that pops in your brain when you think of Mario is driving a Mario Kart. He gets pulled over by police, and then when they ask him for his license registration, boom, takes off. So now there's this high-speed chase of him going in and out of traffic with cops chasing him, and it looks hilariously. So when you say like this Lord of the Rings stuff, your own tailored Lord of the Rings, yeah, it looks real. Like that thing of Michael Jackson stealing the chicken looked real. I mean, I knew it was fake because, for one, it had hashtag Sora 2 on there, but, and we also know Michael Jackson is dead, but, like, like, I'm sure somebody has done, I haven't come across it yet because I'm not looking for it, but, like, making Donald Trump do something weird, making somebody else do something weird, making, like, my goal was, like, uploading a picture of myself and then seeing what it would let me do, like fly or join the Avengers or something dumb like that, because that's what Sora 2 is all about right now.
Wow.
So when you say make your own Lord of the Rings, yes,
You're
with
here
Sora
for it.
2, you can do your own Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I mean, you could make it like a small project. That's probably where it's at now. Get a couple friends together and a couple ChatGPT accounts or whatever.
Well, do you remember some of
Grok.
the movies that I wrote? like One Bad A Cop.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and so like I don't have the script anymore because I wouldn't want any of my kids to come across it. But like something like that, I would love to upload into Sora 2 and say because I have several screenplays on my computer now that I would just love to upload into Sora 2 and say turn this into a movie as best as you possibly can.
Yeah, dude.
And then like an hour and a half later, it comes out with the movie and we watch it and it'll be hilarious. I think that would be so funny.
Just charge your friends
No,
admission because
Dave,
they're the only.
I found One Bad A Cop. I turned it into a movie. Come over, let's watch it. Oh man, the jokes and stuff like that would be so out of date. And then like line jumping, is another movie I think that because line jumping was like a Mallrats movie, but it was for call center. And yeah, and then I wrote another one that this is back when we were all at Team House. I wrote another one called Mass Transportation. You remember that one?
No.
At all? Okay, that was the one where I wrote where a bus, a plane, and a train collide at the end of the movie. So like I had 3 separate stories going on. One that it was a dramatic action flick where something was going on a plane, something was going on a bus, and something was going on a train. And before all 3 stories could be concluded, they all crash together and everybody dies.
Awesome. So nobody gets closure on anything.
No. And there's another movie that I wrote.
That might be probably the best reader beware, choose your scare like twist ever. Like, what's your favorite? It doesn't matter. They're all dead.
Yeah. Because I wrote another movie just coming to mind where I had wrote this movie where I forget the gist of it, but I remember writing 3 different endings, and my goal was if it ever got made to have like a different ending for like a city. So like in Dallas, you would get like the good ending, but if you're in Houston, you get like the bad ending. If you were in Austin, you got like the weird ending or something like that. This is all before the internet because like that premise wouldn't work now because if you go see a movie, you're like, man, that ending sucked. And you go online, you'd be like, man, stupid president was the villain of the movie. And then you like me, who's living in Austin, like, no, that's not what happened at all. I really enjoyed the ending because the president and the main good guy, they got married at the end. That was so awesome that they fell in love and got married. Something like that. But then, like, I like those kind of ideas just wouldn't work anymore because of the internet and the way things are now. We're so interconnected, like we aren't, like we weren't when we were, fresh out of high school.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how much we've had to adapt in a short amount of time. I tell everyone it's probably what we'll say the most if we're still here. When we're like 70 or 80s, be like, well, we lived through the internet being created.
I remember.
That's no small thing to live through.
Well, yeah, I mean, because like it went from, I mean, not that we still didn't do it even after the advent of the internet, but like it went from being like, you would call me up on a there's a phone jack over there. Like they don't know what that is. Like Elise asked me a couple months ago what that was because we don't have phones anymore. Like in a traditional sense, like if you wanted me to come over to play video games, like you would call me up on the phone and, if somebody was there to pick up, they would either tell you that, I'm not here or and then about, okay, hold on, let me hop on the bike, or I'd call you and then you would come over and we'd play video games. And then we went from like Nintendo 64, GameCube, stuff like that, to then we all were carrying our computers over to each other's house to do LAN parties.
CRT monitors.
Yeah, and those huge monitors, holy crap.
With the dent they put in the backseat of the car.
Yeah, and now it's like, hey Dave, do you want to play Smash Brothers? Yeah, let me log on real quick and then we can play. It's a different experience.
Wes will play with his friends and his cousins, and it's nice to see because it's obviously today's day and age. It's completely couched in that because he's playing online. He's not playing face to face, but they're joking with each other. They're sharpening each other. Their social skills and stuff like that.
Do they talk trash to each other?
Not as much. It's actually pretty wholesome. But there's trash talking. But yeah, it's all pretty wholesome.
Because like, I know that we trash talked each other when we played, but not that bad. That wasn't like our personalities. But like, when Dexter plays Fortnite with his friends, it's like, I'm like, how are y'all still friends? Like, because the way that they talk to each other when they're playing Fortnite, I'm like, I don't understand. But then like, I think that the difference is when all four of us were sitting down, let's say playing Smash Brothers, like we sat down to play to have fun, but we're also kind of right next to each other in the same room. So like I wouldn't look you straight in the eye and be like, you are trash. You should stop playing the game. Something like that, because it would be more like, oh, Jigglypuff slept me and now I'm dead. It's that sort of thing, or your Ness because you got so good. I just wouldn't play you when you were Ness, right? But like I think that may be the big difference is we were in an era where we were all sitting next to each other because
you can catch a black eye if you're not careful.
Yeah, well, not so much that because none of us are really violent, but I get what you're saying. Like the difference, I guess the way I would say it is like people when they're in their car don't act the same as if they were standing. Like if there was a line of people, a person wouldn't walk up here to try to cut in front of the line. They would just get in the back of the line.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what's going on with him and his friends is like they're disconnected from the humanity of who they are because they're not playing in the same room together. Because I think if they were playing in the same room together, or at least grew up playing in the same room together, they wouldn't say some of the things that I've heard them say.
Yeah. Jordan Peterson's got a whole thing on this, how it encourages like the worst parts of us.
Yeah.
And there was this feedback system that we've kind of just excised out of the way we interact with each other.
Yeah.
And so the feedback system was the potential of getting your butt kicked. That's essentially it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, nobody likes that idea of solving disputes via violence. Well, what's the alternative? There's probably several alternatives, but the one that we've created is the online one, where the sociopaths and the narcissists rise to the top.
Yeah.
And have the loudest megaphone, it seems. So it's a challenge. I don't know what to do about it. It's cool that our kids are still going to school. Never thought I'd say that, but
Wait, say that one more time.
it's cool that they're still going to school.
Oh yeah.
Where they see human beings for a good part of their day.
Well, I can't remember. Does Wesley go to public school?
Yeah.
Okay,
He
so
just started going to Fossil Hill, dude.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Nice.
The loop is closed again.
I need to delete that off too. That's okay. But no. I wanted to move to an area where so he could go, or Elise could go to where we went to for high school, right? So I get it because he was in cross country, or he is in cross country, like I was, and so I thought that would have been so awesome if he would have ran for the same school that I did, but he didn't want to move, which I get it. I wouldn't want to move in my sophomore or junior year either.
It's tough. Yeah.
So we're here for like another year, and then once he graduates, then maybe we'll move because we've lived in this house like we bought it a month before we got married, and so we've lived in this house our entire marriage. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So for like 20 years we've been here.
It's a good house.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. I'm not complaining about it, but we were just looking about 2 years ago, and he's like, "No." I'm like, "Fine, kid, fine."
Yeah, you get locked in. We've had talks about what we're gonna do. My brother and his wife, and what we plan to do, and you basically gotta have to put things on hold, just because you care about your kids and their friendships.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt because you don't want to. Like I think. In my opinion, I think we were extremely lucky, and we still are, that even though we don't see each other physically all the time, that we're still connected via whether it's K-Chat or whatever, that all of us, except for Will now, but for the longest time it was all of us, that we all hung out in high school. We were all part of each other's lives, and we're still part of each other's lives to a degree, except for Will. But even then, like I just think we're just so lucky, like. So out of the people that were in my wedding, like Will and then Rick, but Rick, we thing about Rick is he just disappeared.
Yeah.
We were talking, everything was good, and then all of a sudden he was just gone.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's
for some
still
reason it
alive.
doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know Rick as well as y'all did. I don't know why that didn't surprise me. Will did. But yeah, man, things are just heated right now, and people's trenches are getting deeper, and jerseys are getting brighter, and so it's cool that we still hang out and weren't really infected by a lot of that.
Yeah,
steered clear of it.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was the infamous night, and Fred and I talked about it one time on stream, and he thought it was the funniest thing, and it just so happened that Matt was in chat when we talked about it. He confessed to being the one that did it, but see, you already know
The confession that nobody needed but Matt.
Right. And the only reason I even told that story on stream was because Matt was in chat, and I was like, oh, my friend Matt from high school, he's in chat. He was there the infamous night this, and I told this story, but like, I don't know. I would love to get, and this is like a dream of mine. Everybody, I think, I think Will's brother, I think had a girlfriend that we wouldn't be able to ever get back on. But I would love to get everybody who was a part of that night to just be in a room and just
Turn the lights off
and,
again. Give them the opportunity to.
we play like, I don't know, what's the game? We play like Among Us or Traders, where one of us is picked as a villain and we have to figure out who it is. But no, I would love to get us in a room and go back through that night for just to get everybody's perspective. But like, I'm assuming, because that's a core memory of mine, that maybe it's a core memory of you, just because it was so wild. But like, what was your I mean, you knew that it was Matt. Everybody knew that it was Matt, right? Because you would have never stolen from Daniel. I would have never stolen from Daniel. Will would have never stolen from Daniel. Joe, potentially, and I don't even remember the girl that was there. And Josiah was there too.
Wasn't Michelle there too? Or am I remembering that wrong?
I don't remember. But even Michelle. Are you talking about Daniel's Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was there, so she wouldn't have stolen from herself.
Yeah.
But like, tell me about that night and break it down for us.
Well, my memory's trash. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I remember just how ridiculous it was. I remember, didn't we give him 3 opportunities?
So
The light was off. The light was on. The light was off. We'd have a little chat. Be like, okay, we're not going. Everybody put their foot down. Hats off to him for holding out as long as he did.
So to give the breakdown is it was, I think, you, me, and Matt, I think, showed up in my car. I don't even know why we were at Daniel and Michelle's place to begin with, but we were all there. And then Josiah had to be with us. So it was you, me, Josiah, and Matt, because Matt was with us.
It wasn't Thanksgiving dinner, was it?
No, that was the one where everybody got sick.
Yeah, that's a different memory.
That's a different core memory. But like, we were there, and then Will, Joe, and then Joe's girlfriend was there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Daniel and Michelle was their place. And I remember, so essentially what happened is Daniel and Michelle, because it's their place, they had their rent money out because they trusted everybody that's supposed to be there because everybody's friends. They had their $800, because that's how much rent was way back in the day, to blow everybody's mind. Rent on I think a 2-bedroom apartment.
I forgot it was that much.
It was $800, right? So
I thought it was like $20 or something. I forgot
when it was $800, because $20 they wouldn't have missed. So like, we were all standing around chit chatting. Let's say we hung out at Daniel's place for an hour. Well, then we all went to leave. And then, like, I remember getting to the door to open it for you guys to start walking out. And then Daniel goes, ha, 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 who did it? Give it back. And I remember being like, what? And he was, maybe I didn't say what, but somebody said what. He's like, my rent money's gone. And I was just like, shut the door, lock it.
You knew immediately that.
Well, I mean, I knew immediately it was probably Matt.
Yeah.
But like, it could have been Joe. It could have been Joe's girlfriend. Who knows? But high probability Matt.
Yeah.
So Daniel says,
I do remember that was kind of the wild card
What?
to getting to the bottom of it, was like Joe and his girlfriend. I mean, we didn't suspect them per se, but we didn't know them as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like super clear. It was Matt, even though.
It was. And so shut the door, lock it, because I knew that I didn't take the money. I would never do that. And so we started saying, okay, whoever took the money, and then whoever, I don't know who gave the idea, but somebody gave the idea, everybody surround the table. We got newspaper. We were going to turn off the lights. We were going to make a whole bunch of noise, yell, and then whoever took the money,
That's right,
put it on the table. So let's say Daniel turns out the light. Everybody starts making a bunch of noise, wah, and then the light comes on, the money's not on the table. And we're like, come on, all right. If you thought that was somebody was going to turn on the light when, try to get you, we're going to do it again. Start doing the rattle, turn off the lights, turn back on the lights. money's still not on the table.
Turn off the light one more time, you hear the window break, and Matt's running with the light.
And then there was this moment where we were like, okay, we have to do somebody has to do something, or we're going to call the cops.
That's what it was.
We're like, we're going to call the cops, because we didn't want to get the cops involved.
Imagine that annoying
Yeah.
situation, talking to the cops. Oh, well, we're all friends, but...
Yeah, yeah. But somebody here stole $800 and they won't give it back. And then, like, when we were having this conversation, right, I remember seeing out of the corner, and I don't remember much. My memory is pretty trash, too, but I remember that night. But I remember seeing out of the corner my Matt kind of dilly-dolly into the kitchen and come back in there. And then your brother, I don't know, let's say like a minute or two later, goes into the kitchen, because it was right on the other side of the little half wall, and he's like, the money's on the floor. I didn't do it. I knew your brother didn't do it. It's not your brother's personality. It never will be your brother's personality to do that. So, but like, I just knew it was Matt. And then Daniel was just like, I don't know who did it, but thanks for giving my money back, because that would have been.
Did he count it?
He probably did. I'm sure he did, because
We had to go through
$800
the
is
final
a lot.
slimy step of the whole
Yeah,
thing.
but yeah, that was so. From what you remember of that perspective, like to me, I was thinking to myself, I was so mad, right? I was so mad because I knew it wasn't you, I knew it wasn't Will, I knew it wasn't Daniel or Michelle or even Josiah. So I knew that one of the three that I knew Matt a lot, and we always but so I knew it was a high probability him. But I was super mad that I brought this guy into Daniel's house and he stole from him. Right. I knew that there was a very small chance that it was going to be Joe or his girlfriend or whoever the extra person was. But I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those moments where you're just like, we always have that memory.
Yeah. Imagine how many Oakleys you could have bought with
Yeah,
with that rent money.
it's true.
At least 3 pairs.
Well, do you know about the Oakley thing?
I just remember Oakleys and Matt.
So I had a pair. So when I first got married, Christy said that, I told her I wanted a pair. I found a used pair on Craigslist, so I went and got it, paid $200 for it, right? Super cheap, because the glasses themselves were $375 retail. So I had those glasses for 16 years, right? Maybe 17. And I lost them, and I searched. I went to places that I basically systematically, I found the last picture that I had of me wearing them, and I went through to try and find them, because you have glasses for 16 years, whatever. So I never found them, and then I bought these super knockoff versions of them, and I posted a picture. I was like, hey, I lost my glasses. I found some knockoff. He messaged me, and he's like, hey, he goes, I went a little crazy way back in the day. I have like 10 pair. Do you want one? I was like, well, how much do you want from me? He's like, no, I'll give them to you for free. So he mailed me like a polarized, like they're hanging on the refrigerator over there. They're like, I've had them for about 2 years now. He mailed me like a $400 pair of Oakley Juliets just because. He's like, I don't wear them. He's like, I wear my one pair, and he's like, I got like 5 or 6 that are in storage. I was like, I will pay you. No.
So that was his olive branch?
No. We casually talked throughout the
Yeah.
after high school, but
Oh, just that's your way of knowing that he was finally turning a leaf. And
no. It was just, I was just saying that because we brought up Oakley Juliets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the fact that I lost my pair, and then he just was like, I'm not using these. Here
I
you
thought
go.
the implication was that he had stolen it, but
No.
not possible, yeah.
He's. I think he's like some bigwig at some call center in mid Texas somewhere. He just said that he bought a bunch of them.
That's cool.
And he wasn't using them, and I could have them. So, yeah. But just the fact that that he did when he was in chat, and I brought up that story, he was like, it was me, and. I remember I was like, Fred was giggling or whatever, and I was, well, Fred doesn't giggle, he was laughing. And then I kind of leaned in, I was like, we knew. We knew.
I'll take things you could have brought to my attention yesterday.
So one of the things I was thinking about asking you is, and you said your memory's trash, so maybe you won't have a memory, but like.
It's like my recall is trash. It's really like if I could take a drug to help with recall. Like if you tell me something that happened, I'll be like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because you brought it up.
Oh, well, the reason why I said that was I was going to ask you because Dexter's over there. Like, what would be a deep, dark secret? Because
That we partook in.
yeah, I mean it's 20 plus years ago.
Well,
We didn't murder anybody,
The thing about
so none of this can
I
be.
won't tell that one. Well, we're actually privileged here because we weren't terrible. Human beings. So like we don't have to lie or embellish or anything really. So probably the worst thing we ever did, we probably could have gotten in trouble for arson. Was when we lit that dumpster on fire.
I don't know if I was there for that.
Maybe you weren't, but it was. I can get rid of this if it's a problem.
No, that's fine.
But it was a dumpster, and it was like our days where we were just driving around with the mortar shells.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that street where you remember where the Scotties. Yeah. He was in that area, and we
Really, I don't remember that.
we threw one. We just passing by and threw it in there, but it had a bunch of trash in there, so it was all kindling.
I will tell a deep dark secret that's not because you saying the mortar shells reminded me of us taking mortar shells and putting them in the porta potties and then lighting them and throwing them in there and then
As if building American suburbia is not bad enough. You got to walk into your toilet and
So we did that. So that was kind of the most mischievous thing that I could think of. I mean, there was a time where we were shooting Roman candles at each other.
yeah.
From cars. I think that was probably, that was on the level of stupid. That was pretty high because if we got hit in the face with one of them, it could have been really bad.
Yeah. I think it was the mortar shell hand accident was us too.
What do you mean?
I think we were driving around. I think I was in Daniel's truck, and I lit one. And I was going to throw it out the window, but I think the wick circled back around to itself and shortened it by like 10 seconds. And I think it fell on the floorboard.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And it blew up in Daniel's truck?
No, I picked it up like an idiot and threw it out, but it like exploded as I was letting go of it and burned my hand.
Better outside the truck than in?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways this could have gone. But I think to make it worse, I think we were somewhere in like, where there wasn't a lot of development, some back roads, and there was a pond, and I just wanted to ease the pain, so I put my hand in this like really grungy pond. That was when we all worked together.
Yeah.
You remember I couldn't do my job. I just had the one hand.
Was it Frankie Feeling?
Yep.
Yeah. Good old Frankie Feeling.
Good old Frankie Feeling.
I remember when we all got let go from that job. You see all those people out there, and none of those have a future. Y'all have a future.
Go.
Go.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh my goodness. But so what do you think about that? Were you paying attention to the mortar shells in the porta potties? When they explode, it shoots out the top of the porta potty.
Yeah, it wasn't the main explosion. It was the one that's supposed to shoot it out of the tube.
Yeah.
But bad enough.
So all of the porta potties we did were kind of in the same neighborhood, and that neighborhood's older now. But
Yeah.
I used to have a buddy that lived in that neighborhood.
It's weird to think of it the way it was.
Yeah.
Because it's right there
Yes, it's right there.
on that corner. Yeah.
It's right there.
Behind a CVS.
Yeah.
That gives it away.
Yeah, well, the CVS doesn't exist anymore. That shut down. But yeah, that's an older neighborhood now, and a buddy of mine lived in that neighborhood. So every time I would turn down that first street, I'm like, that's where the porta potty was.
There's still flakes of poo. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That
was pretty clean. Skipping school. Playing. We had those BB guns. Where they looked pretty realistic.
Yeah, the airsoft.
Airsoft, yeah. And so there was that night where I think it was like maybe 12 a.m.
Yeah.
Where we were playing at the park and the cop showed up.
Yeah.
So that was asking for it. But God, man, we were pretty straight laced.
Yeah, we didn't do anything.
We didn't know how straight laced we were, and we knew we weren't like the druggies.
Yeah.
But you talk to people that weren't druggies that grew up and they're like, yeah, we did all this crazy stuff. We were sleeping around. We were just like, whoa. We had this table of four or five people that weren't nerds but weren't jocks.
Yeah.
And occasionally would blow porta potties up.
Do you think that some of that tameness that we had was due to me having Brett so young? Like that stopped us from going over the top because like there was like there's a level of responsibility that I took. I wasn't the most mature
Yeah.
father at 19, 20, but like I knew I couldn't go jumping off a roof. Not that that's what we did, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I knew that I couldn't just do anything because Jackie was the worst mother person that I could have ever picked. But like, but I don't know. Do you think that rounded us off a little bit or no?
You for sure. Yeah. I mean, when I talk about what kids should and shouldn't do, it's difficult for me because I know you have to be careful, and it's good to have the talk with them about children and whatnot. But for some people, the best thing that could ever happen to them is to have a child when they're young, and for others, it's better to wait. Obviously, I waited quite a long time. I don't know if it was the right call. It turned out well, but I don't know what would have
Wesley's
happened.
a good kid.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened if I had Wesley at 19. I would have had more energy, but it wouldn't have been smart, I think. So, but for other people, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, but in a specific way, in that it accelerates their growth and their maturity, and so it's a tough call. Obviously, you don't want to do it before 18. But yeah, most of the crazy stuff that we did was before that. Was when we were in high school.
Like all the airsoft and things like that happened after.
That's true.
Yeah, all that stuff, like the crazy stuff that I remember that we did in high school
Yeah, you're right.
was mainly going to Harrington's class and playing marathon and
Skipping.
Yeah, doing that kind of stuff
Yeah.
because we weren't like we had the yeah, I would say we all had it because we all went to church to a degree. Like we all had kind of like that Christian fundamental
Yeah.
that held us back from doing the crazy stuff that everybody else did.
Yeah.
And
I
until,
think more fundamentally, we probably all had generally healthy households.
yeah,
Yeah, because you can take someone that's like from a Christian household that's a different flavor, and they go the other direction.
Yeah.
And they're more hardcore than someone who might have been raised in an atheist home. But yeah, we never felt the need for attention. We were pretty stable mentally, I think. So
yeah. I think because like we all went over each other's houses. So, I mean, not so much Will because he lived a little bit further away than you, me, and Daniel. We were all kind of within like a mile of each other, or maybe a mile and a half of each other. But like we're always at each other's houses and doing stuff. So it's, I mean,
yeah,
your parents are awesome. I have so many hilarious memories with your parents and Daniel's parents, and even some with Will's parents. So like, I never, if we spent the night over your house or Daniel's house or my house, I don't think anybody ever felt like there was any danger of the parents just like erupting and yelling and screaming at each other, which is
yeah.
which is good, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that played a role into it. And then like maybe when we graduated high school, there was like maybe like we were out on our own to a degree, not really until we move into team house, but like we just stretch our legs a little bit as kind of mischievous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we probably kept the candle going with Team House, but you had wisely deuced at that point. We had the 9/11 ceremony, for lack of a better term. So we don't want. There was that.
Well, if you remember, the reason why I bounced from Team House was because of Christy.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't think even if you didn't get married, I don't think you would have been around for some of the stuff that was going on.
Well, so the stuff that started happening after I left, I always assumed happened because I left, because the people that took my place.
Yeah, that was a big part of it.
Because it went from you, me, and Jeff, who had no room for that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think I was replaced by Jason and Josiah, and then Will ended up moving in. I don't know who brought it into the house, but I think it was it Jason that brought it into the house?
Well, it's not even that. I mean, it was just, there's blowing up porta potties, and then there's having like 60 people over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we definitely pushed our grace at that phase.
Yeah, because
So,
I was there when the pizza boxes started, but
Yeah.
I was not there to see it end.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very thankful we skated through that period.
Yeah,
Without, I've never been incarcerated, so
Yeah, there is times where like there's a lot of stuff that could have happened and could have went wrong, and it never did.
Yeah.
And when I look back on, I'm like, praise God,
Right. That's all you can do. Yeah.
because just
Definitely poke the bear.
some of the stuff, like even when you look back at the airsoft, right? The cops that showed up, like they gave us a little bit of praise by saying you guys did the right thing by standing out there and piling those guns over there, because if y'all would have been running around, shooting at each other, because
Hey, it's an airsoft.
there was I saw a video where it's like how to give your ID to a cop when you get pulled over, and the guy goes like that.
This might be good for everyone, whoever's listening or would be. Have you been told like the best way to get pulled over?
To not get pulled over, right?
To not get pulled over,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. But next to that is to turn on your dome light and have
Yeah.
your hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Obviously at night, but
So what I was taught, not actually by my dad, but by my co-host Fred for the Fire Resistant, is we were traveling from Houston back home, and I was going 85. Cop pulls me over, but he didn't pull me over for going 85. He pulled me over because my license plate said Missouri. We had rented a car to go to Houston, come back, so he pulled us over. And Fred said, turn on the dome light and roll down all the windows. So
yeah.
teach them. Last time I got pulled over, which was a long time ago, is during the day, still rolled down all my windows, and I kept my hands up there, and so because as he's walking up, if all the windows are down, the cop knows the entire situation.
Yeah.
As far as who's in the car and what.
Yeah, it's empathy and like all the way down.
Yeah.
It's like just with driving. I can't stand people who drive and don't use the turn signal.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the same type of person that would leave their trash out or
Well,
or not put their hands in the steering
the
wheel.
way I talked to Brett and the way I've talked to Dexter, because Dexter's about to start driving, is if a cop pulls you over and he issues you a something that you're supposed to, if he tells you to do something, or if you're an adult and a cop thinks you've done something that you haven't, comply, and then you can get it worked out. When you don't comply, that's when you put the cop in a predicament where he has to either use force, or if deadly stuff could happen, right? It's better to comply and sue later on
Yeah.
than to not comply and be dead.
Right.
And because there's a guy that I used to work with, his name, I forget his name. He was a Mexican guy when I worked at Saxon. Him and I became good friends. He missed like 2 days of work one time. He got back and was like, hey, man, I can't believe I forgot his name. It's like, hey, man, what's going on? Like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, did you hear about that shooting downtown Fort Worth, blah, blah, blah? And I was like, no. He's like, well, I was walking out of the store, and all of a sudden I had like 4 cops with their guns pointed at me because I matched the description of a Mexican guy with a wife beater on and black pants. And he was like, they took me down. And
Holy crap.
but yeah, he did 4 cops with guns pointed at him, and they took him down, and I think he busted a rib. He got some money out of them, not a lot, but he still got some money out of them. But he just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and if he didn't comply, even though they still took him down, it could have been much, much worse than
Right.
being taken down, right?
Yeah, you never know what you're being accused of.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, okay, I'd rather if cop says, hey, get down on the ground, you better believe I'm going to get down on the ground and just be like, all right, why is this going on? Like the thing that annoys me the most about the culture that we live in is people that film themselves to be defiant to police. That annoys me, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah. I think it's a big, there's a whole social presence
Yeah.
that seem to come out of nowhere. And a lot of it's racial. And, a lot of conservatives put that on Obama. I don't know enough to say if that's the case. But, being from San Diego, it was weird for me to grow up basically not having any awareness of race and not caring about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like everyone's talking about it again. So I like to describe it as something that there was some embers, but somebody threw kerosene.
Yeah,
On
without
the
getting
fire.
into it, without getting into it too much, it was the media. Because when someone showed a graph of like, let's say, the '60s through like the '90s up into the 2000s, the word like racist and fascist and Nazi was like at this level, and then all of a sudden, it started ticking up like in the articles that were being written about these certain things. So you have like this line that is consistent for a really long time of these words being used in the media to all of a sudden it just starts skyrocketing
Yeah.
up to where we are now. And that's ultimately what I personally think is what it is the media took this narrative that was consistent and then all of a sudden said, oops,
Just
let's
fan the flames. Yeah.
fan the flames, and here we are.
Yeah, and I think the cop question is a big part of that. Just this idea that the default position is that if you are of color, that you're at a high risk of being shot or arrested or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen stats on both sides. So again, I'm not smart enough to know if it's true, but I don't think it is. I think a lot of the death by cops is not what the people who think racism is still alive and strong
Yeah.
believe it is. I think it's a little bit fairer, or doesn't point to the conclusion that they've come to. So this idea that I'm getting pulled over and that I'm already on my back heels, there's a chance I'll be shot whether I comply or not, was something super unhealthy that I think was kind of unnatural and fabricated. And it succeeded. I mean,
Yeah.
You just have a lot of people, that's why they don't comply, and that's why they piss off cops. That's why they're generally opposed towards authority in a shotgun, unfocused way. So they just want to piss off cops, and it's like they don't know how to direct their resistance.
Yeah. So there is a pastor that I listen to out in Georgia. His name is Anthony Philip or Philip Anthony something. I forget his last name. He's a black pastor, and he did a sermon where it's a big church. It's 2819 church. It exploded through social media because of some of his sermons, and they went from like having one service to having four because people started showing up. They had to move to a different building. Anyways, so he preached this message about 2 months ago where, because his church is primarily black because he's black, right? Because tribalism in America, right? So he preached a sermon about how to keep your kids alive, teach them to respect authority. And apparently while he was preaching this thing, how scripture tells us to submit to authority, like people are just
Just walking
getting
out.
up and leaving
Yeah.
because it's part of it's ingrained in particular portions of culture to buck the system. When if we're trying to be, and again, I don't want to get into it too much, but like from his perspective, the only reason I bring it up is because he's supposedly supposed to be their shepherd, trying to help them grow spiritually, and he tells them this is how we do it. He
Yeah.
uses scripture to back it up, and then they reject it.
All
So
right.
like you're there to be fed from spiritually, and then like you hear it and you're like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean,
Yeah.
'cause that was one of the questions I struggled with. I remember, right near the end where I didn't go to church before that, I had asked my pastor about a sermon he had. I actually wrote a long email to him because it was about, I think it was that verse that you're talking. Is it in Romans?
Probably.
Something about, that the authorities put there by God.
Yeah.
And, me being a huge World War II, I guess researcher or interest of mine I was like, well, what about the Germans in Germany in like 1940? There's a fair amount of resistance that people in hindsight are asking of those Germans. So I was like, is that always the case? Or is there some nuance to this verse? Like, what do you mean by authority? Is all authority granted by God? Or is it a little messy? So I did struggle with that one.
Yeah.
And I guess I can, in their perspective, if they think that being black meant that you had a higher chance of being shot by a cop, specifically white,
Yeah.
then you're not going to be there for that kind of sermon. And that's a
It's
that's a tough spot for that pastor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, truth is truth, whether we want to believe it or not, right?
Yeah.
So at least from the worldview that he is was speaking to. But yeah, so that's what I do when you get pulled over. Like for one, since I have an LTC, I have my license and my LTC ready to go. And then if I have my firearm with me, then I tell them exactly where it's at. So yeah, there's when you have an LTC. Do you have one? I can't remember.
No,
Oh.
no, we have one at home, but
LTC is licensed
Licensed
to
to
carry.
carry,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like so like when you get pulled over, if you have one, you have to hand them over your driver's license and your license to carry, and then
do you like say it when you hand it over? Like
you
at
hand
that
it to
time?
him, and then when he looks at it, he asks you where your
okay.
firearm is, and you tell him where it is, whether you have it with you, if it's in the
It's right here,
door.
mother.
It's, oh, you want that? Here you go. No. But
Since
there's
you
only been
asked.
one time where I got pulled over, where I had my gun with me, and it was for, I want to say it was for Dexter's birthday. We had ordered a bunch of food. I think it was Happy Meals or something like that. I can't remember exactly why. I just remember having a bunch of Happy Meals, and my wallet was underneath them because I wasn't expecting to get pulled over, right? Because there's a spot over here in the city I live in where like there's an area where you're not supposed to drive into, but everybody drives into to turn. So there's two lanes that are going straight, and from this lane you're supposed to turn, but there's like a big enough gap. So like if you're turning, you don't have to wait in line. You can just turn. Cop saw me do it, and then he pulled me over, and I was like, oh crap. So when I rolled down the window or rolled down all the windows, the first thing he sees is of course me, and then all of the food, and he's like, blah blah blah, and I said, first of all, like I have an LTC, my gun is here at the door, right? It's in right here, right next to you. I said, and my wallet is underneath all that. And I was like, I asked him, I said, can I get permission to get out of the car and walk over there and find it? And he asked me what I was doing and all that sort of stuff, and he just let me off with a warning. So
pretty smart.
Yeah, well, I mean, because he knew that I wasn't nefarious. I had a bunch of Happy
You were
Meals
trying
or
to
something.
bribe him with food, though.
Yeah. I said, do you want some fries? And he took me to jail because
What's it gonna take?
I was like, oh, really? Yes, copper. So every time we make eye contact now in the city, I'm like, you
What can I
remember
get
me
for-
because I remember you, sir.
Still got a couple chicken nuggets.
Yeah. One of the things that in the pictures, and I was going to ask you this too, because I really don't remember, and it could be because Wesley was Wesley born in Texas or was he not? So one of the pictures that I have, and I remember you being there, was you being there when Brett was born. You were at the hospital with me. I remember you there, and I also remember. I remember from the picture of like you actually holding him within like hours of him being born. There's a picture of you actually holding him.
That's awesome.
And
At some point, we got to get all our pictures. Look at the pictures that we have and on different. Like I have stuff on hard drives.
well, these are actually physical pictures.
That's awesome.
I just need to scan them in over there. But like the
Yeah, I
reason
love that.
the reason why I bring that up is like when I looked at this picture of you holding Brett, I was like, I remember him being at the hospital. I don't know if you were in the car with me or you drove me to the hospital, but I just knew that you were in the waiting room. And I was like, how was I not in the same position for you? I was trying to remember. Couldn't remember if he was born while you were up north, or I knew he wasn't born when you were on the West Coast, but I was thinking that maybe he was born when you were up north, but like I just couldn't remember why I wasn't there.
I think you were grieving for Robin Williams.
Probably.
That's what it was. The timing.
But no,
I can't remember. I don't think we had too many people there. I think Twee's parents showed up. My mom and dad. I think that was.
Yeah.
I can't remember, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was just wondering. That's how I thought about it last time. I was like, okay, he was there whenever I was like 20. I was like, why wasn't I there when we were adults? I do have a picture of you, me, not in there, but somewhere, of you, me, Will, Daniel. I think Jeff was West Coast at the point. I think when you and Twee got married. I think I don't think Jeff was there, but we were.
He was here.
No, I'm saying like
When we go-
yeah, y'all got married over in that house in Watauga, the next to the park. I remember that, but I was just So we house. Maybe Jeff was in that photo. I don't know, but I have that picture too, and because I think wasn't Josiah's wife, she was about to give birth, right? Or because I know Christy, I know Christy was preggers with Dexter. I think was the reason why she wasn't there, and she was ready to burst. But I also think that Josiah's wife wasn't she pregnant? Somebody was pregnant on your
For what
side.
event?
For your marriage.
Oh, I think it was Jessica.
Yeah.
Because she Teddy was born in May. I think I have that right. I'm a horrible uncle. But that we had moved to New York just after that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I remember him being born just after we moved.
Yeah, because y'all, I forget, y'all got married in what month?
We got in April.
April. So it was 16 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Because so you got married what at the beginning of April? Because he was born on the 28th.
It's late. It's on
Yeah.
the 22nd.
I don't mean to throw you on the spot like that. I don't mean to throw you on the spot like that. But yeah, so I think you got married one week and he was born the next.
Yeah. It wasn't very long. So
Yeah.
we got married and then we went up to New Jersey.
Yeah. So somewhere there's the picture of that floating around too. I think that may have been one of the last times that all four of us have been together, I think. Because when Daniel went to Colorado and Will went up to Portland, I don't think that we have ever all been in the same room. And then after January 6th, I don't know if we'll ever be I don't know if we'll ever be in all four in the room together again.
Yeah. Will is currently fighting ice.
Probably. I knew I saw him in a video.
Yeah, I've thought about a trip up to Colorado.
Yeah.
Where we can all get back together. That'd be pretty cool. Just
When
do
you
like
say
a-
all of us, do you mean Will too?
If he's down.
Yeah. The last time he responded to me is, do you remember his girlfriend Castle?
Uh-huh.
So somehow I forget how Christy's connected to her, but she died. And like I said, I texted him, told him, said, hey man, I know that I don't know if you care or not, but Christy told me that this, and I forwarded the article to him, and he said thank you for telling him. And then when our youth director, that was the last time he responded to anything that I sent him. And then when our youth director Jack passed away a few months ago, I texted him, he never responded. So
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't kept up with him too much myself, but that's more just because I'm terrible at long distance.
yeah.
So
Well, for the longest time, like we were keeping up through social media, right? And then, it took me. My timeline is it took me probably about January 6th happened, 2020 or 2021?
I think
I think
it's
it's
2021.
2021. So that happened in January, and I want to say it was probably about May when I realized he'd stopped talking to me. Because, January 6th, day after my birthday, I'm assuming he sent me a text, right? And then his birthday comes up, send him a text, doesn't respond. I'm not paying attention. I'm just whatever. It's you're living life. You don't think that somebody's mad at you because they would tell you or not. But then I think Josiah said something on like I think he made a post, and then Will made a post, and then when I went to respond to Josiah, I think you hover your mouse over Facebook photo, it pops up and tells you whether you're friends or not, and the check mark wasn't there, and I was like,
Yeah.
we're not friends. And then I was like, what was the last thing we talked about, right? Because whatever. And then I traced it back to
January 6th.
January 6th. So I
Yeah.
thought that was wild to me that because so you and I met 7th grade. That means Will and I met in the 6th grade. And we were friends from the 6th grade all the way through all the nonsense stuff. And then
Now this.
some event that has nothing to do with either one of us is
Yeah, that's
is the breaking point.
Yeah, that's the part that's so hard about this is it's just, I don't know. We lived through a lot, and for me, it's like dark entertainment. Do you know who Tim Dillon is?
Maybe if I saw his face.
He's like my new favorite comedian. He's got a show that he puts out every Saturday, In fact, I would listen to his show because it's like I would liken it to the scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where I think it's Willie. I always get them mixed up. Whatever the older one is, where they're going through the tunnel, you know, and
Where he's singing and
yeah, and everyone's like Marilyn Manson, be perfect. Yeah, so that's what this feels like to me. You know, they have the different ages that we've gone through, this information age, and like this one for me feels like the absurdity age.
Yeah.
And like on both sides. Obviously, I'm not trying to like imply anything in that. I think it's just absurd, and Tim Dillon captures that really well. His dark humor is so perfect for everything that's going on. I would play Project Zomboid and have that in the background, so it's a dystopian, you know, zombie game with Tim Dillon in the background, and that's the way I see this stuff. Like, it's not important enough to me to end friendships over.
Yeah.
And I do try to, and I get it if it is for others. I understand. I understand what certain subjects mean to people. But for me, it's window dressing. And it's the ugliest and silliest window dressing I've ever experienced.
I've turned it into that recently. And then, because I've lost probably about 3 friends over it. And it's a topic that's not important to me. But I used to engage in a lot of conversation about it. And there was this guy, again, like he was a friend of mine. He was a missionary to Thailand. And we did all this stuff together to raise money and raise awareness and all this sort of stuff. Because him and his wife were stuck in Thailand because they went there as missionaries. And then somebody dropped a baby off on their doorstep. So the baby has, I think, Down syndrome.
Okay.
And they were trying to get back to the States. And the Thailand government would not allow them to legally adopt the baby so that way they could come back here. So they were stuck in Thailand for, let's say, 5-6 years. And
that's crazy.
We did multiple things together. He comes back, moves to California, gets radicalized, and that whole, and again, I don't want to get into it at all, but like the whole Elon Musk, when he did the gesture, like
that was the boiling point.
He was for saying that Musk was that word, and I basically responded to it, and then immediately noticed that the check mark was gone. It was gone. Yeah. And I was just like, you unfriended me, like, over this? He's like, yeah. He goes, I can't conversate with somebody that supports ism. Yeah, and I was like, and once that happened, again, like, when Will did it, 6 or 7 or whatever, how many years ago it was like, wow, I can't believe he did that. But then, like, here we are 7, 8 years later, and now someone else has done that now. Like, I've totally divorced myself to a degree from it. You know, the whole Charlie Kirk stuff kind of brought it out a little bit more, but then I'm trying to push it back into it because, like, I don't want to lose people over something that shouldn't be as important as it is for some. But yeah, I've, like you said, I've put it as window dressing at this point. Like, okay, yeah, people have chosen their sides. No one's going to change. Yeah. So I'm not going to be a part of the cogwheel anymore. Like, I'm off. I'm like, okay, let's be friends. Let's just talk. Let's talk about Batman. I don't want to risk being, you know, people getting mad about something that we shouldn't even be mad about. Right. Right. But one of the things I was going to talk to you about is, did you ever pick up the guitar? I can't remember.
Can we pause for a sec?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to the restroom.
Okay. Can you? Welcome to, just kidding. I was just asking because in the last podcast that I did with Christy, we did episode 20 together.
I watched a little bit of that, by the way.
Yeah, she revealed to me that she's always wanted a husband that played guitar. Yeah. So over the past 2 weeks, because we filmed it a couple weeks ago, you know, behind the scenes. But no, I started picking up a guitar. I know Josiah did, and hopefully he'll do the show so I can talk to him about it. But, like, I can't remember, did you ever pick up the guitar?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, very little.
Yeah, right now I'm at the point where, like, last night I was playing and I hitting the B and the C chord, like, this finger is, yeah. I was just gonna see what where you were at it all. But if you didn't pick it up, then
I dealt with that a little bit. Yeah. I still know the. There's like an intro to a Metallica song that I can still play.
yeah.
And I can still do the that Pumpkins song. I forgot the name, but the dee 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 dee.
Oh, Discord, or not Discord? Disarm?
Maybe.
No, today. No, it's
Yeah.
today.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's today. But
No,
yeah.
you're talking about where it goes. "Nee, nee, 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 nee." That's today. Today's the
Yeah.
greatest
Yeah.
day
Okay.
of it.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I can play. Yours will. It will always win. 9 times out of 10, your memory. So yes.
I don't know. You can ask Christy. Like, here's what I'll tell you: if I could forget all the movies I've ever watched to regain all the memories I don't have of his birthdays, of Elisa's birthdays, of Brett's birthday, I would give it all up to get all those back. Because for me, I think maybe our brains are similar because like I can look at a picture and then once I see the picture, then like my brain can just pull memories.
The rest of it out.
Yeah,
That's cool.
can pull memories from that. But like if you're like, hey, what happened on Dexter's 3rd birthday? I don't know. What happened on Brett's 3rd? I don't know. What happened on Lisa's birthday? You know, if we pull up the pictures on Google Photos and I look at it, like, oh yeah, that's when blah 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 happened.
I'm sure there was a bounce house and some.
Yeah, something like that. But
Animal
yeah,
balloons.
but I can't just recall it like that. But then like, you know, for whatever reason, I remember you in the waiting room when Brett was being born, right? I remember there's memories I have of that. You know, memories of, if you remember the night where Will got mad at me because he thought I abandoned him to the guy because we were playing laser tag in my front yard, and then he pointed the laser tag gun at a car driving by, and the guy freaked out, and like I have that memory because if you remember, we had gangsters that lived next door to us, and Guillermo talked to the guy for us and all that sort of stuff, and Will thought that I had abandoned him. He got super mad. Like I remember that. You know, I have other memories like that I can recall, but like kids' birthdays, I would love to have them all. I would love to have them all back.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's another memory that I didn't know if I was going to bring up, and then we're gonna start to wrap this bad boy up. So do you remember the night that I came and got you because I needed to talk to John
Yeah.
about Jackie?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever, I mean, I know it was like 20 years ago at this point, so I don't even know if you remember like what you were thinking or what was going on, because like I grabbed you because you know, you're one of my core friends, but like I needed somebody there to make sure I didn't lose my crap, because to set the scene, right? The girlfriend at the time, we hadn't moved in. Team house hadn't happened yet. And I think Brett had already been born. So she was my baby mama. I thought we were going to get married at some point. Total, you know, younger, a lot more testosterone type deal. And I found out that like they had been dating each other behind my back. And then like I've felt like I was going to lose my crap. But anyways, ultimately, come and get you. I'm like, hey, I don't remember the exact terminology. And I was like, hey, I need to go talk to John. This is what's going on. And you being a phenomenal friend, you're like, I'll go with you. But like I remember,
Here's my 22.
huh?
Here's my 22.
Here's my 22 and here's your scope. But do you remember like that night, like what were you thinking as this conversation was going on, where I was kind of losing my mind, but not really?
I remember that. I think mostly because you just brought it up.
Yeah.
So it came back. And then I remember something like that where you came, and I don't know if it's the same memory, but I think you were crying.
Probably.
You came to the front door. It was at Hemlock.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember, I was like, what? Why is Aaron crying? Like, this is new.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen
He's a
you like
psychopath. Why is he crying?
that. Yeah. But yeah, I just remember that. I just remember you being emotional for one of the rarest times
Yeah.
at that time, seeing you that way. But yeah, I do remember you that going through that with those two.
Do you remember that exact scene at all, or no? Yeah. Okay.
No, I was probably just more. I
remember you standing there because
I never thought. I do remember. I never thought that you were gonna ever do anything.
Yeah.
You know, that would get you in trouble, or we just weren't like that. Our peak testosterone is like, hey, dude, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, that night.
Could you please not
Yeah. Well,
help
that
my
night.
girlfriend cheat on me?
Well, that night, I knew that my emotions were getting the best of me because you remember me emotionally upset, crying. So, like, I didn't know. I wanted to make sure when I was going to go confront somebody who claimed to be my friend who was dating my girlfriend, baby mama, fiance, whatever she was at the time, because it was a consistent cycle.
Betrothed.
Yeah, at the time, and I just didn't know if you remembered. I remember you standing to the side, like you didn't engage with him.
Where did we go
or
for
me?
that?
We went to his house because the whole premise of it was I needed to talk to her, and then like I called up her house, and her mom Penny was like, "She's not here," and the way that she said it, like I knew something was
Hint,
up.
hint, wink, wink.
Yeah. And so, and then for whatever reason, I tried to call John or something like that. I was trying to get hold of John. He wasn't available either. And then, like, somehow, some way, if you want to say God, kind of just was like,
It finally clicked.
it's them.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if there were like other hints before that. You just hadn't pieced them together until then.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even remember anything around that other than I was like, Dave, you're available, help, and you did, and nothing happened, of course, but I should know if you remember that because that's like a core thing between like our friendship of like cementing something that can like never be broken because of the fact that like we were been there for each other and all that kind of stuff throughout our lives, and oh yeah, that was the other thing. Did I ever get my kudos? Didn't I get you the job at Saxon? I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, you did.
And who did you meet at Saxon? I'm just kidding.
Well, I think you might remember we went through a rocky period when at Team House, OG Team House, where
You and I did?
yeah, and you probably don't remember because I was seething, but I had a problem with I think it was Nokia. I forgot the provider, but I had a problem with my phone, and I had canceled my contract, and there was an early termination fee that I wasn't aware of, and it like emptied my account, and so I couldn't pay rent, or I could only pay a portion of rent. And at the time, we all paid you, and you were like deep in like the collector.
That was my job.
And money matters, and so your promises, and none of that is incorrect. But it was like I remember like several emails back and forth, and I think this was at Origin. And so you were at your desk and I was at mine. We weren't hanging out, but we were emailing each other. And I was trying to plead my case, and like I don't think we weren't being nice to one another.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't friendship ending, obviously, but it was.
It should have been.
It should have been.
Yeah.
Over a phone bill. But I think that carried with me a little bit after that, where I was like, okay, we had this thing, and then money seemed to jeopardize it. And I think that was maybe just before Saxon, though. So I don't know how we transitioned from me not being super close to you at that time,
Even though we were living in the same house.
to you getting me a job. It was, but yeah, we got past that.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's why I don't think about that in that way. That like, Aaron basically got me
Well,
my son.
Whenever I ponder,
all the way down.
yeah, whenever I ponder about some of the things that I did whenever I was younger, you always look back, it's super cringe, and
Yeah.
even that thinking, like even though I don't remember that, and you do, that's super cringe to me. Not that you remember it, but like I was that way, right? Like if that were to happen now, and you're like, hey, I can't pay you the money because of this, I'd be like, oh, okay, well then we'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But
It'd be one thing if I was like, "Hey, man, I got this. I bought this video game, or I bought a new video card,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to make rent, buddy." That one.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but also it's super cringe, and it's just one of those things where you're thankful and you look back, you're like, yeah, he was a hole, but we all kind of were at some points, but like it wasn't enough to where you're like, all right, Team House is over with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't remember that. I remember. I don't remember really anything as far as friction inside the house. I really don't.
As far as what?
friction inside the house whenever I was there. Because, I mean, I was only there for a year.
It was like super buttoned down.
Yeah.
It was like,
I think it was because of Brett.
I think so. Yeah. I think you were just making the changes you need to internally,
Yeah.
Different,
But,
crazy time in your life. I can't imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, when we moved in together, Brett was, I think, 2, maybe 3.
Sounds right.
So, because he was born in 2000, and we were married in 2005. So he was at least 3, and then because whenever we moved into Team House, that's when I put him into Bethesda, and that's where I met her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I met Twee in 2005.
because I got you the job.
That's
We came full circle. You tried to divert us with the story about how it was a jackwagon at some point with the bill.
you, Aaron.
All of your joy, all of it is because of me.
Thank you for my wife. Thank you for my son. But most importantly, thank you for Saxon.
Yes, Saxon, that doesn't exist anymore.
So I could call people and annoy them for money.
Yeah.
After Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, and it was C&D paper too.
That
which
was a cringe thing that we both did, though.
Yeah.
We were part of the machine. We just didn't know.
Well-
We didn't know anything about subprime mortgages or balloon payments or any of that crap. We're just
Right.
like, I need a job.
You learn about on the fly. Like, here's what I tell you: I got the job at Saxon, total blessing from God, because I was unemployed at the time, and at the time you just faxed your resume. So like I was I was looking at the newspaper because the internet wasn't real. I mean, it was a thing, but it wasn't. And I was finding jobs, entry level jobs, and Saxon was one of probably 10 places that I faxed. I get a phone call. Guy says, "You want to come and interview?" Yes. I don't care what it's for. Yes. And then like went in there, interviewed, started basically the next week. At the time, Saxon did benefits starting on day 1, because that was one thing that my dad, I'm sure
Right.
your dad probably busted into your head, was you got to have benefits for your kids, right? So benefits starting day 1. So Brett immediately had medical health if he needed it. So and then off to the races. That gave me the ability to move in, or for us to do Team House whenever we did. And then, when Christy and I got serious, she had a little bit of debt. I got her a job at Saxon, which propelled her into where she's at now. She's my trophy
Yeah, see, I
wife.
forgot she worked there.
She makes
Your
way more
trophy
money
wife.
than I do.
Oh, yeah, she's your sugar wife.
Yeah, sugar mama. That's
Sugar.
what it is. Yeah, she's my sugar mama. She makes way more money than I do. And then of course, you got a job there. I forget there was other people I helped get a job there.
Twee got a job there.
Yeah.
You remember when she got walked out? Yeah, she put in her 2 week.
That's why.
But I think she was in forbearance or something. She was the one that was sending out the letters that basically said you're screwed.
Yeah.
And it just got to her. And I can't remember why she moved over to that department, because originally we were part of the same team where we.
Probably more money.
Yeah, I think so. We were in the same building, so we could still date. But yeah, I remember getting walked out. Well, what happened was that she put in her 2 week, but I think she put out like a nasty gram on the last day, and they're like, okay,
Time to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
get your stuff.
Because for me, like I started off in collections, the 0 to 30 day, and then the goal was to go from 0 to 30 day either into a team lead position or loss mitigation, which was 60 to 90, 90 to 120, and then move on. And that's what I did. And maybe that's what she did. She didn't want to call people and try to get money on, because that was the worst.
Yeah.
It's like because you tell people that their payment's due on the 1st, but they have a grace period until the 15th, right? And then you call them on day 2. Like, hey, where's your money at? I'm not due till the 15th. Okay.
Yeah,
You just want to set up the payment?
yeah. You still wouldn't, please? I want that bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing about that job, other than meeting my wife and launching cows over the cubicle wall, because I had that catapult thing from Monty Python, I would bug her while she was on the phone. So like a sheep would fly over the wall while she was on a call. Other than that, my favorite thing was playing the semantics game with anybody that called, because you remember that you couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know why, I was not a nice person.
Yeah,
Like,
well-
I mean, I was professional.
Yeah. You were on a
That was the
dialer,
game you
yeah.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they would be like, "Can you tell me about this?" No, I can't tell you. Well, can you answer general questions? Sure, hit me. And they would try to edge their way closer to getting proprietary information. And then just the games you could play.
Did you ever talk to anybody famous while you were on the phone?
No, but I do remember seeing the file for Gary Coleman.
Nice.
Yeah,
I s-
somebody had gotten a call from him,
I
or
spoke-
called him actually.
I spoke to Uncle Phil.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
The dialer rang. It was a. Did you ever? Of course you did. But did you? But I'll ask you. Did you ever do welcome calls?
No.
Okay, so welcome calls when somebody's loan gets transferred, you get put into the dialer. It would say welcome call. So you would go from collection mode into welcome to. Thank you. You're in Saxon. Blah blah blah. And like when he picked up the phone, right. That was back before we kind of knew everybody's name.
Mm-hmm.
So when James Avery's name popped up, it was just another name because I'm trying to get through calls as quick as possible. And when he started speaking, I was like, he was Shredder from Ninja Turtles, but he was also Uncle Phil too. So he's got a very distinctive voice. And I was like, golly, I was like, this guy sounds like Uncle Phil. And then when he was talking, I was like, hey, I'm from Saxon. We're welcoming you, blah, blah, blah. You got Soltas.
You look up the pictures, the Bel Air house.
Yeah, and he was basically he said he kind of interrupted me in the middle of giving me my welcome thing. He's like, hey, I need you to call my agent. My agent will get y'all in touch with the accountant. The accountant will make sure y'all get paid. And when he said that, I went and Googled his name and James Avery, of course, Uncle Phil. But I'd already hung up the phone with him because again, I was just like, gotta get to the next call. And I was like, oh. It's Uncle Phil. I get to speak to Uncle Phil. Now it was very professional and it was very quick, but that's my claim to fame. I talked to Uncle Phil on the phone.
And you met, bringing it full circle, you met somebody from, God, I can't remember the movie now, Boondock Saints,
Yeah, I've met both of them.
on the Lord of the Rings. Oscar.
Oh yeah. That we met Papa Joe. You and
Papa
I
Joe,
did.
yeah.
He was also in 24 as well. He played the husband of I forget her name, Chloe. Yeah, he played the
Oh,
husband. Yeah,
wow.
He was in 24.
Have you shown your kids 24 yet?
No.
That's a new
Well,
one. Because I've talked to Desai about that. Like maybe his kids would be into that.
yeah, I don't know. I think 24 first few seasons, top tier
Yeah.
entertainment. I just don't know. Like he's a puzzle. I can't. I don't know. That's the thing. It's 24 is not a comedy. It's action, thriller, drama. But like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. Maybe we sit down and watch the first episode. Here's what I tell you: we were watching Band of Brothers. Still haven't finished it, and then we started like over a year ago.
Shameful.
We got to I forced him to get to the medic episode, which is my favorite episode, right?
Yeah.
My favorite episode's a medic episode. Once the medic episode happened, I stopped forcing. I wanted him to come to me and say, let's watch the final few episodes, because that medic episode is like 7, I think. So there's still 3 more, and never brought up. He watched. Did you like Saving Private Ryan?
Yes.
So he watched Saving Private Ryan, but I think we watched it in 2 separate parts, I think was the deal.
It's a long movie.
Yeah. But still,
I'd rewatch it.
Still amazing.
I can't rah-rah for that stuff anymore. Like I feel like a part of my soul's been taken. Because it started with the Pacific.
Hated it.
Hated it too. And I started to think about it, and the conclusion I came to was that it was too accurate.
Oh,
I'm like, I don't like this because it's too accurate. What does that say about all the other war stuff I watch?
Yeah.
I watch war stuff. Am I getting what I'm supposed to get out of it? And yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to be like, woe is the world and look at the dark side of everything. But like, there is a big part of watching Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers and being like, these are the good guys. So all this stuff has that backdrop to it. When Winters is going through the trenches and taking out the guns, and then you look it up and it happened, and it's like, well, yeah, everybody did stuff like that. I mean, there are thousands of scenarios like that on both sides. It's just trash. It's a horrible moment in humanity.
Yeah.
And there's no way to glorify it anymore to me. And so I can't get excited about that stuff anymore. Like Saving Private Ryan. I've thought about it though. I may watch that with Wesley. That's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie, but it also shows what it took, because if we didn't invade Normandy, who knows what would have happened. We had to get a foothold in Europe. We had to.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a crazy operation, dude. You know about the fake boats and stuff that they did?
Fake boats, the tanks that were supposed to float were like 6 out of the 10 sunk to the bottom of,
Yeah, yeah.
of the ravine. There's
And
all
the-
kinds of craziness that they did to try and get our people across.
Yeah, World War II is a universe in and of itself. It's really cool
Yeah.
when you dig into it. I mean, the special forces operations that most people don't know about, like Rommel. They tried to take out Rommel when he was in Africa, and they trained some guys to like show up in a U-boat or something, and he just happened to not be there for that weekend, so it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But just the fact that that kind of stuff was going on, the Germans did the same thing. They put some guys on some U-boats and tried to send them to New York to, I guess, blow up some warehouses or something. They got caught by the precursor to the FBI. So it's just crazy, all the little stories.
Yeah. Some that stories need to be told and some don't. But yeah, when it comes to the Pacific, you didn't like it because you just said because it was too accurate. For me, like I have such an affinity for Band of Brothers that like even an actor, if I know an actor's in something, like a TV show from Band of Brothers, I'll at least give it a chance just because of Band of Brothers in there. And, you see all these names, of all these actors and the characters that they play. So when you see Winters, you know who it is. It's Damian Lewis, all the, or at least I do. And then, like, with the Pacific, because they didn't take the time to have you fall in love with Easy Company, right? And their version of Easy Company. Like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you a single
Yeah.
character. I couldn't tell you a single plot line. I couldn't tell you anything.
It
But
was severed, right? It was there were two, at least two groups, maybe three, because I feel like there were two groups, and then there was like one or two episodes that followed their return to the States or something, and it just seemed kind of fractured.
yeah, the example that I give is there's an entire episode of I think it's episode 2 where the soldiers go to, I think it was Australia, and they chase women.
Yeah.
For the entire episode, I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Why is this in the Pacific?
And
Right.
that's supposed to be the building. I guess the events that Band of Brothers tried to cover were like aided that structure better. Like you had Currahee,
Yeah.
so you could meet everyone that you're gonna live with from beginning to end. It didn't seem like that with the Pacific.
Yeah.
There's actually less people. You'd think it'd be easier to do it. It was like just follow these three or four
Couldn't
guys.
tell you. But then I could tell you that I've only watched it once. I've never gone back and rewatched it at all. So I couldn't tell you that if I went back and rewatched it today, maybe I'd like it because my standard is so low that I'd be like, yeah, you know what? That was wrong. It's a little bit better than what I thought.
It's an interesting conversation to have because there's
Yeah.
probably a lot we can unpack there. How do you beat one company going from training all the way to the eagle's nest
Yeah.
and liberating a concentration camp, and then on the other side you've got some guys that are getting malaria,
Yeah.
and fighting against what movies often and shows often portray as like just a horde, and that's kind of the way they fought.
Yeah.
The Japanese prior to. They made some shift in like 43 or 44, I think, where they learned that they could hide in holes in the mountains and stuff and just shoot the American soldiers as they landed. And so the numbers became horrible after that. That's part of the
Yeah.
reason why the bomb was dropped. But prior to that, they would just send waves. It was their honor was just sending waves. So
Zerg.
Yeah, it was
Zergos.
very, like I don't want to be racist. But it was their military strategy.
Yeah.
Was what made it seem like that. It was just nameless hordes of people.
Kamikazes, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Just
yeah.
people sacrifice themselves.
So it's like hard to like dramatize that.
Yeah, well, it's like you look at that, and then you look at, let's say, like Stalingrad, Enemy at the Gates, where you have Russia sending their troops with one with no gun, one with bullets, and one with a gun, and that they turn around to retreat, they're mowed down by their own people.
Yeah,
That's
the
why
machine guns went to the people in the back with the whips.
Yeah, to me
The
that was
machine gun whips.
I remember watching that in theater where I was like, "Holy crap! Like, what is going on here? Like, I can't believe that." But what's the difference between that and putting a guy in a plane whose job is to fly it into a boat to sink it?
Yeah.
But all right, Dave, we're at I think we're a little bit over 2 hours.
Made
We
it.
try to cut it down to the 2 hour mark. So, like I told you at the very beginning before we started, this is your time. This is the words of wisdom from Dave. It may be.
I totally forgot about this. This is
Oh,
going to be
did
amazing.
you? Well, here's what I'll do: is as I'll talk, I'll build it up a little bit to give you a moment, and you could just be like deuces, and that'd be it. But ultimately, this is the time in the show where we come to the end where I give you the person that I was interviewing the ability to just give words of wisdom. Maybe you just want to say, Wesley, I love you. If you ever see this, Dad loves you. You're my favorite son ever. Twee, you're my favorite wife ever. Or something like that. But ultimately, this is your time, uninterrupted, to give words of wisdom because, this is going to go on YouTube. So I'm hoping to do this. Like, my entire goal is to interview my sphere of influence while also building up and meeting people and interviewing strangers, because the whole goal in all of this is to interview all people of all backgrounds, gay, straight, I don't care who, just to get stories of how they grew up. Because you like G.I. Joe, like, well, if the next person you interview doesn't like G.I. Joe, then like, what did they do, right? Or
Make
like,
us fight.
yeah, make y'all fight, get it, and at the end of it, everybody who's ever been on Aaron Ask America, they're going to put them in a Thunderdome, and you're
I
going to
was going to
fight
say
to
you
the
need
death.
like a ticker of like the percentage of America that you've asked.
Right. Well, now I'm at like 0.00001.
Like a
But-
live.
But yeah, that's the goal. Is like, we're in Texas, so like I want to see if I can figure out a way to go to, like, let's say Houston or something like that, and then just get words of wisdom and stuff like that from everybody. Because, well, like we kind of touched on a little bit, we're in a time of fracture. So just because you're this or this, maybe we played hockey on, maybe not on the same street, but maybe you played hockey on your street, and then how did y'all do it? Stuff like that, just similarities. That's the whole point of the idea that I have, is present the similarities between all of us and the differences, because we're all American. Like, the example that I always use is like, we didn't have a lot of money. So we came up with games like, I don't even know, you could have played with us, but we had this game between us where we played whoever drops five. We would just throw a football to each other, and whoever dropped it 5 times lost. So stuff like that.
Whoever what?
It's called whoever drops 5. So we'd have a football, me, Jerry, and Dad, and we just throw it to each other, and whoever dropped the ball 5 times lost.
Oh, gotcha.
Another guy told a story about him and his brother had this game. It was called the pickle juice game. Whoever lost had to drink pickle juice. It's gross. But anyways, all that to say, all that to drag out the point where you've had enough time to put together your words of wisdom.
Oh,
So
crap. I was just thinking about it.
you were just thinking about drinking pickle juice. You're like, oh yeah, but
Don't drink pickle juice.
But yeah, but there's your camera right there. If you have any words of wisdom, by all means, it's all
Which one
yours.
is it?
This one.
Oh, that one. Well, I don't. My concern or the things I think about change, it seems like monthly. I have different mantras that seem to be what I need to learn for that particular period. But so I'll give the one I'm on right now, and it is maybe what I want on my tombstone, which is whatever you're doing, try to bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. And I think that means different things for different people, but if you could extract a way of living from that, how you navigate subjects, how you let subjects get in the way of your friendships and your connections. I don't know. I just think it's inclusive enough, and it's basic enough to hold close and let it guide your actions. So just try to do that. Just whether it's through tech or through your relationships, or just trying to bring some levity, just bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. I think we've been called to do that, regardless of your faith. I think that's what we're doing here. So I want to be a part of it. I want to be put in a position to do that, and I hope people in some way have that desire to. There's just too much pain going on, so that's what I would recommend. Try that.
Awesome. Dave, thank you for coming on the podcast. You're one of my closest friends, even though we don't get to hang out very much. We have so many memories together, and we shared some of them today, but there's a whole host of them
Yeah.
that we did not.
We can do it again.
Yeah, we will definitely do it again, and maybe we'll give some more Aaron secrets, so that way Dexter won't make the same crazy mistakes that we did, even though he's like a year and a half out.
No, he'll make fresh ones.
Huh?
He'll make new ones.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he probably has. It'll be interesting, like once he becomes an adult, right? Like when he graduates high school, and when we sit down and we do like Aaron Ask America, where I'm like, okay, you're an adult now. You can't get in trouble. You can't get grounded. You're making your own money. What did you do?
What have you done?
What did you do?
I know what you did, but I want you to tell me.
I know what you did last summer. Be like, what? But yeah, it'll be interesting because
It's a
I
mad
had Brett
story.
on. I had Brett on here, but he was rushed because when he comes down and hangs out with us, he can only hang out with us for a little bit. But I want to get him down here, and that'll be one of the questions that I ask him. Like, okay, you're 25. By the way, you know he's married now, right? So like he got married a few months ago, but now he's going to do the ceremony here in the next couple of weeks. So he's married now. I'm like, dude, you're married. You have your own thing.
Is that the girl who's been with her
What
a
did
pretty
you
long
do?
time?
Yeah, yeah. Him and Nicole. Nicole is
Okay.
they've been together 6 years, I think. So,
Cool.
but yeah, that'll
Good
be
for
what.
him.
What did you do? But when Elise becomes adult, I'm never going to ask that question.
No, you don't want to know.
No, I don't. Sons, what did you do? Because like one of the stories that, because that's one of the things I told them. I said I'm not above a belief that if we didn't have cell phones, that we wouldn't have done all the stupid things that are going on now. Because like as soon as we got digital cameras, like we started taking pictures, right? Even before digital cameras, we had pictures of some of the stupid things we did in downtown Dallas and Fort Worth and all that sort of stuff. So like, one of my favorite pictures I ever took is when we went to our high school and we changed the FRH band.
It's one of my favorite memories too.
Yeah.
All the
So,
cups.
Yeah. Yeah. But either way, I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your day and away from your family to come hang out and do my crazy podcast. And
Yeah, dude, it was fun.
And yeah.
We'll do it again.
Yep.
Plenty more.
All right. This has been Aaron Ask America. Hold on. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I always forget about this. You're supposed to yell at me. You're supposed to yell at me and tell me. It's like, subscribe, the thing that you're supposed to do, share.
Smash.
Smash Brothers.
Abuse the like button.
Smash the follow button. Is that
Our word, the follow button.
Yeah. Do you call it hashtag or you call it pound sign?
Hashtag.
Is it GIF or GIF?
It's GIF.
Okay.
Yeah. The real questions at the end.
Right. All right. Anyways.
Aaron Ask America, we're talking real life. Truth, love, and struggle, no filters, no hype. From the heart of the people to the soul of the land, he's asking the questions you'll understand. Aaron Ask America.